Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Hope you had a good long weekend. Hope you took advantage of the time off if you had it. It's great to be back with you. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. You can email us if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. By the way, Tom, as is President's Day tradition in the Cameron household, I got back to an awful lot of people via the email, some of whom sent me emails going on 3 years ago. So they got up on President's Day and saw in their inbox a random email from me, probably random to them anyhow. Hey, it's Jeff. To answer your question, Jimbo's leaving.
Did you actually do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds right.
But I also got back to a lot of really heartfelt, some gut-wrenching emails that people sent, some funny emails that people sent, some even a few angry emails that people sent. So I got back to a nice mixture of everybody. And, man, did I realize how many people I've ignored the last 3 years. Woo! Going to that inbox, Tom, that's deep wading. I was like, look at this. This guy sent me an email every day for 6 months, and I never responded. He finally gave up. Dear Jimmy, I got all 452 of your emails. Hope you're well. Peace.
So you reeled him back in for another 6 months of not answering.
I don't know. But if you'd like to email, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com works. And on President's Day, I'll get back to you.
We'll get back to you.
Hey, now.
Yeah, 360 days away from now. All right.
Good stuff. On Twitter, it's at J. Cameron Show, the WTSM app. Good for your mobile devices. Hello, YouTubers. I hope you're well. Man, I'm feeling pretty good today. Feeling good. A lot happened while we were away. You know, we need more long weekends. Things happen when we're away. Lots of things happen while we're away. We fire a coach. We knew he was getting fired. And that rubbed people the wrong way, but it had to happen. So now Randy Clements comes in and...
Did we know he was going to get fired, though?
I did.
You did?
Well, I pretty much said it on these airwaves, not because I said it that it happened, but this was obvious. We were just waiting for us to, figure out the situation with Houston. Once they made the decision to hire Kendall Briles, they knew they were going to bring in Randy Clements, and it was all a matter of money. And Greg Fry did a terrible job. So, peace. Man, I ain't got time to suck every year. We're not doing this. And I get it. You're an alum. Go Noles. But that was awful. And you weren't given much to work with, and that's a shame. You didn't do anything with what you were given to work with. That, too, is a shame. And it adds up to have a good day. But you get paid handsomely. Not a volunteer. He'll do all right for himself, and he'll get back on his feet, and I wish him well. There is no animosity here, but it's time to move on, and we did. And this is really the story of the offseason, is that, again, if you did all this stuff in a much shortened timeline, Ira wrote that column on warchant.com, I don't know, it was 2-3 weeks ago, whatever it was. He's not wrong. Look, if you did everything that's been done in this offseason succinctly, in a very timely fashion, we'd all go, good on you, Willie. You better do that. It's your ass next. That's true of anybody that fires a lot of coaches or makes a lot of changes, whether it's year 1 going into year 2 or year 10 going into year 11. We've all watched this happen with coaches in the past where when a guy is up against it, Dabo did it, when guys are up against it, when guys realize that maybe in some areas they're lacking or they're unable for whatever reason to get to some things that are, pressing, they make changes. They do what they've got to do to stay afloat and to obviously better the program. That's your job, your task, and you're paid really handsomely to make sure that the program is, as I like to say, operating at peak efficiency. Well, obviously it was not. Now, that's not all Willie's fault, but he is in charge of fixing it. So here's the deal. I don't care that you inherited a nightmare. Your job is to fix the nightmare. And in year 1, you didn't come any closer to fixing it than it was when you obviously took on the job. So you got to make drastic changes, and he has. He fired Alonzo Hampton, who had to be fired. I'm sure that was difficult. They're friends. Sucks. But he had to fire him. So he did.
I'd look at that situation in special teams very quickly and just say it's easier to circle that and say that's terrible. You don't belong on the staff anymore because we were terrible on special teams. We got worse year to year. Then for the offensive line coach with Arthur Williams having to start at left guard. I'm not saying he did a good job, but I'm just saying, all right, well,
nobody can say he did a good job.
To say he sucked, I don't know. Is that really
I think that's accurate.
Objectively true?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a difference between saying you inherited a nightmare and you were given a lot of players that aren't very good, certainly not to the level of what we expect, or that is the standard at Florida State. There's that, and you were the worst offensive line in the country. Come on, man.
Well, if you only have one healthy tackle on the roster.
Listen, I refuse to believe that there isn't, at the very least, an offensive line there that would maybe just be, say, the worst in the ACC. It was the worst Power 5 offensive line in the country. You had linemen that were considered at times to have posted zeros. At some point, you got to look at coaching. A lot of former Florida State offensive linemen commented on the regular about a lack of technique, any number of issues that we can point to over the course of a season. Is that all on him? No. Is some of it? Yes.
Some of it is, yes.
Yes. So let's go. Let's move on. You're going to make the decision to hire Kendall Briles. Randy Clements is as well thought of as there is. He wants him. They've been kind of a partnership all along. Once you've made the decision to go OC that way, you're going this way. So whether you want to describe it the way I did or if you'd like to soften the blow a little bit and change the lingo, fine. I don't care. It had to happen. It was bound to happen. They made the move. It's the right move, and I wish him well. It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances that he inherited, true, but again, we don't have time to really sit around here worrying about what the perception is, the way something looks, or who's feeling good about something or not. They got to get better now. And if you're Willie, your job is on the line. Your job is on the line. Another horrible season like the one you just had, and I don't think you can recover. Some would argue it's going to be tough to recover from 5-7. I don't think that's the case. I think he can. I think he will. As I sit here today, that's what I believe. Now, if we see evidence to the contrary as we move forward, I will say that. But there's no doubt year one was a failure, and at least on the football field. Now, I am not in that locker room. Did they make strides in other ways that aren't visible to the naked eye? Perhaps. But on the field, we didn't see that because it wasn't just that you were losing. People lose games. It happens, especially when you inherit a program that is on the verge of hitting the side of the mountain, as we like to say. When you get blown out by anybody with a pulse, something else is going on here. And a lot of things have to change. And so a lot of things have. You bring back Ron Dugans. Hallelujah. We celebrate that. I think that is as well thought of a hire as there could be. Ron not only from here, played here, but is an established and successful wide receivers coach. I think more than anything, we're excited, too, not only that he's back at Florida State, but that he's going to help you a lot when it comes to recruiting. Okay, so you have that. You bring in Kendall Briles. Again, we've already discussed ad nauseum the controversy surrounding the move to bring in Kendall Briles because of who his father is. I get all that. I'm not interested in having that conversation right now. We've had it. We've talked about it. Merely based on his resume, his successes, his football acumen, and what he's been tasked with doing, he is an absolutely overwhelming success story, right? Everywhere he's been, 34 points or more. It was a good hire if you got to hire an offensive coordinator. Randy Clements, well thought of again, but he's kind of a part of that package, right, that comes with Briles. So you make that move. And there's probably another move coming. So at this point, you've made the moves necessary to upgrade your staff, to get better as a program. And you can't really worry about what people say about that. There are going to be people who are going to criticize the move as coming really late in the game and making it very difficult for Greg Frey to find another job if he can at all for now. I get that. I do get that. But, look, man, the coaching profession is what it is. I mean, you get in the game, you get in the game. You know the deal.
No, I mean, I tend to agree with the upgrading part, and I think that even if Frey was still on the staff, I mean, how much would he really have done day in and day out, and how much would he be there just to be another analyst or another body on the staff? There's a couple of ways to attack that. Maybe Kendall wanted to see for a little while what Greg Fry was all about before making a determination if he wants him to be on the offensive staff. Maybe the Houston thing was just going to go. We always knew past signing day, and so we needed Fry to tell kids what they wanted to hear, and we needed to keep him under the impression that he was going to be here so kids would say yes. I don't know. Overall, though, I agree that Clements over Fry is an upgrade. I'm just saying, I'm not so sure you can objectively say that he was terrible at his job this last year. There was less than 0 to work with.
Well, we'll agree to disagree. I think he did a poor job, and I think the folks at Michigan thought he did a poor job. And you talk to those people, they'll tell you that resoundingly so.
They did on the way in.
They were happy to see him take it on down the road, and I too am happy to see him take it on down the road. There you go. So,
yeah, what would Clements have done with this offensive line last year, though?
We'll never know.
Would be my question. What would anybody have done with this offensive line? Listen, I'm not trying to be an apologist for Greg. Just on the way out, as we close the book on his time here.
It was very brief. He inherited a nightmare. We agree on that. He didn't do much to help the situation. I think we can agree on that.
Yes, I also will not cry for nearly $1 million salary, over half of $1 million, and you get left in a lurch late in the game. The coaching profession is dirty, man. But you know what? Financially, you can absorb being off for a couple of months.
Here's the deal: we do not need to confuse this with it being personal. Here's the deal. I mean, like you just noted, these guys are handsomely paid. I still don't like to see people lose their job, but they do. That's just the profession. People lose their job. They come and go in the coaching profession all the time.
That doesn't mean the game's not dirty, and that
it's absolutely
he might have gotten done dirty here, but still.
Tell you what, give me $650,000 to take a walk.
Exactly.
I'm not going to lose sleep over this, and he'll get another job if he is a good offensive line coach and somebody else sees it the way you do. He'll get that chance.
What?
I mean, it's.
I'm not even saying that he's a good offensive line coach. What I'm saying is I don't know what anybody could have done with this to close the book on his era and say definitively that he wasn't good at the job. I mean, I don't know.
I don't think he did a good job this past year at all. Now, we could get into the intricacies of that, but it's boring. So what I would say is I thought he did a poor job in addition to being really left very little to work with, and then there were injuries and other problems.
Olay is your only tackle.
Yeah, I mean that's
there you go.
But again, you're assessing that every day in practice, and that never got better. So a lot of frustration. We now move on from that. It could have been just terrible timing. However you want to look at it, all that we know now is that we are in fact moving on. And I think most Florida State fans breathe a sigh of relief, alumnus or not. It's one of those things where you say, okay, well. Such is football. I mean, these guys.
Sure. And if you get this one wrong, then Willie's gone too, and
that's
we
what
start
I mean.
all
He
over
can't
again.
afford to really worry about it here. He's got to get it right. He's got to be sure that this thing is humming. Certainly to a level that we didn't come close to reaching a year ago. And if that means you bring in Kendall Briles, personal offensive line coach, then that's what it means. And okay, you accept that once you've made the decision to go to Kendall Briles. And that, look at it, it's got to be tough. Personally, I'm sure it's tough to walk in and sit down with somebody whom you just hired to say, sorry, it didn't work out. And listen, the set of circumstances here weren't ideal, but we're moving on.
Appreciate that work on the trail, though. You did a great job. Great job.
But, that's where, okay, so if you do want to say something about that, that's fair. We've seen it 2 years in a row. 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Different staff members on their way out the door, and they know it. They know in all likelihood they're not being kept, right?
They knew last year. I don't know that Fry knew this year.
I don't know if he did or didn't.
If he had other offers, he may have jumped ship at that point.
I don't know. I don't know that. I can't answer that. But, listen, certainly he knew it was a possibility. He heard Randy Clements' name. He knew it was a possibility. So the only thing I'll say is, again, you're getting paid another $650,000 to take it on down the road. It's going to be all right. He'll be okay. He'll end on his feet. But when you make these decisions, it's not easy. But this is part and parcel of that it comes with the job. This is the kind of stuff. This is big boy stuff. And when you have the kind of year that Willie had, after you sell the program as not needing to be overhauled, after you go on the tours and you say what you said about how quickly Florida State is going to light up that scoreboard, lethal simplicity, Gulf Coast offense, this isn't a rebuild, this is a retool, this isn't, this is just a tune-up, I should say. It's all of these different things, and then you go out there and underwhelm to that extent, and the bowl streak ends. It is fair to say, while all of that is not your fault, A lot of it is. Some of it is. Enough of it is that if you do it again, you're done. So once you recognize that drastic change is necessary in order to, A, keep your dream job, and B, get this back to where it needs to be, the tough decision has been made. Feelings are going to be hurt. People are going to be fired. Change is going to be made. That has happened. It's been drawn out in such a way that it feels a little disorganized and convoluted, but nonetheless, I think most people, most Florida State fans, if you had told them, let's say after the final game, after Florida blew your ass out at home, and there you sat staring blankly onto that field as I did and you did, and we all kind of, well, that's a capper on one hell of a season there, Willie. If that night, I don't know, the boosters had placed phone calls to everybody and said, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing, and then you rattled off the changes that have occurred since that game was played, what do you think the percentage of people and alumni and supporters and fan base as a whole, community, you name it, would be that would say, yeah, I'm for that? 90%?
Yeah, maybe more.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
We all would have gone in lockstep and said, okay, that's a shame for Greg. That's a shame for, well, whomever you feel bad for. But, yeah, we would have said, let's do it.
Especially with the emotions of getting your ass handed to you by Florida.
All right.
I think they would have said anything. Like, oh, Willie's gone too? Sure. Sure.
All right. Well, delay it 2.5 weeks if you want time to compose yourself.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm still telling you it's at 90%. People were ready for this, and it's happened now. And so Florida State, now listen, having said all of that, at the end of the day, and we've got audio, and I'm going to play it for you here in a moment when we come back out of this break, from Kendall Briles. He sat down with Seminoles.com and Lane Hurt, and he did a 10-minute-plus interview with him. We're not going to play all of that for you. You can find it there, but we will play about 5 minutes of it for you here in a moment. People were ready to hear from Kendall, and there's some things here that we can kind of pick apart. In the interim, I should mention, a lot of other things happened. And first of all, Florida State got yet another win on the hardwood. Knowles played tonight. The choo-choo's been humming. That is 6 straight with an opportunity 7 straight. This one on the road tonight against a desperate Clemson team. This will be a fun game to talk about and what it could mean. But Florida State is playing with a little bit of house money here. A little bit of house money, taking care of business as we have. The softball team dominated the tournament down in Clearwater, St. Pete. Yes, yours truly actually tuned in to a lot of that. You've won me over, ladies. I'm all in, man. That is a lot of fun to watch the product. They swing it. They swing it. It for my taste, my personal taste, and I didn't like softball for the longest time, not to watch it, for the longest time. It seemed to me to be a sport that differed so greatly from baseball, which I love. It just didn't move the needle to me. I know, and listen, I root for all Florida State teams, but it didn't do anything for me. Last year's run drew me in. I began to watch. I began to learn. I saw how the game had changed so much, and it was entertaining. Never mind the fact that we were dominating, which is great, and we won the national title, which is even greater. I actually enjoyed it. So when I was flipping around this weekend and that was on, I watched. And to see us go yard with that kind of frequency, I mean, it's fireworks.
Well, we make plays in the field, too.
We do. The catch at the wall, I was watching live when that happened, sat up off my couch, sat there and went.
Did you really?
I did. My wife was watching, too. So were the boys.
Well, the games are quick and they're, yes.
Oh, man, yeah. It's not that big of an investment. You sit down, you're in and out. There's skill. There's greater skill than ever. I mean, that has to be the case. I remember tuning into games and going to games a couple times in the mid-'90s. And listen, nothing against the girls that played then. Obviously, that was the game at the time.
Right, swinging bunts.
But God almighty, it was hard to watch, man. It felt really slappy.
No, we're winning a lot. It's a weird feeling around these parts.
Yeah.
We're winning.
It's good to see. So, yeah, that happened. And, of course, got a chance to go out to Hauser and take in some of the games over the weekend. I didn't go to all 4, 2.5, I think I'd say I went to. And I got thoughts on that as well. Tough to take away a lot in a 4-game set against Maine.
But about a no-hitter, though. I've never seen a no-hitter in my life, and I don't care that it's college baseball against Maine. I've never seen a no-hitter, and I don't care that 5 guys pitched in that game. No, because the pressure for that.
It's neat. Yeah, it's neat to have.
It's cool to have seen it, and then also the pressure for each kid as they individually come in. It builds and builds because you don't want to be the guy.
Yeah, it's not easy. It isn't your traditional no-hitter, and since you've not ever been at one, that's cool that you got to see
the hell in.
Yeah. No, listen, I'll tell you real quick. Just, again, this is self-evident here how long this segment is to open the show just because so much happened. Hey, it's always great to be over there. And you know me, you do know me exceptionally well. we are as tight as they come. I'm how do I say this? I'm not one to give in to superstition. I'm an analytical, scientific kind of guy. Tell me you didn't walk out of that statement with a little bit of the chills. 11-0.
Yeah, 11-0.
Opening day last year.
I just appreciated it when I walked out. So that's awesome. I didn't,
It wasn't that. I mean, that was crazy. That score.
I wasn't genuflecting on the way out of the stadium. Or anything.
Wasn't.
That's what you're asking.
No, I'm just saying it wasn't that they threw a no-hitter and won 5-0. They won 11-0. The first game, your final year.
Yeah.
Home opener.
But they didn't stop at 11. They were trying to score more.
I mean, that was just. I kind of went, whoa. Okay. That's what we're doing around here. We're going to throw around omens left and right here. That's what's going to happen. I left it there. I just kind of chuckled. I thought it was
the first good thing that happened in a 35-win season to come. It was just like, at least we had opening day. That's what the pessimist would say anyway.
It was fun, and yes, Florida State won all four, and I'll touch on that momentarily. There's more baseball this week, obviously, and there's another basketball game tonight, and so it is. And the chase is going on. When we come back, you'll hear from Kendall Briles. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Plastic infant in their piece of cake is named King for a day and is supposed to bring a king cake next year. Choose from an assortment of fillings: apple, cherry, blueberry, pineapple, raspberry, strawberry, or cream cheese. Get yours today. Tasty Pastry Bakery in the Market District on Market Street, 6:45 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Online at tastypastrybakery.com.
The good old-fashioned bakery. Remember Tasty Pastry.
Call 893-3752.
All right, Peloton, keep it going. Thanks for riding with me today. You're halfway through this 30-minute hip-hop ride.
Now double your money and make it stack.
For all my first-time Peloton riders, how far will you go this year? Remember, your finish line is just the beginning. Get after it.
Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com.
Tallahassee loves the corner pocket as much as a crystal ball winning catch.
He's looking, he lost it to the end zone. It's Benjamin! Touchdown! With 13 seconds left!
The 97.9 ESPN radio special is a must-have every Monday and Wednesday at the corner pocket. 10 mouth-watering wings, a fresh side of fries, and a chilled domestic pint of beer are just $9.79 all day long. Be sure and try the fish blend of sauces, a true wing eater's favorite. The Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
He's gone!
Home of Trivia Tuesday, Beer Bingo Thursday, and the daily $7.99 lunch special.
Did you just get an Amazon Echo? Pretty neat, huh? Now you can find us on there. Just say, Alexa, enable ESPN Radio Tallahassee. Once you've enabled our skill, you can listen to us anytime you want. Simply say, Alexa, play ESPN Radio Tallahassee.
At Hardee's, we grew up. We stopped sleeping with our handmade nightlights and pacifiers. But there was one childhood classic we couldn't kick, the grilled cheese. So we made our grilled cheese grow up into a handsome bacon thick burger. Freshly toasted sourdough, melted Swiss, and American cheese with crispy applewood smoked bacon on 100% Black Angus beef. The grilled cheese bacon thick burger. Only available for a limited time because it's so grown up and it's very busy and has very little work-life balance.
Hardee's, because it tastes better.
Available now for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Sharer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You can do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to Super Lube my car. Yes, sir.
Roofing and construction services. TSparkConstruction.com.
It's been many months since Hurricane Michael devastated our area. Many people are still dealing with the damages and finding it hard to get a local contractor to contact them. Are you struggling with getting assistance to fix your damages? Are you feeling like your insurance company is not being fair? If your answer is yes to any of these questions, we can help. My name is Travis, owner of T-Spark Enterprises, and I'm asking you to give us a call today for your free consultation. Let my company guide you through the process to get your home back to normal.
Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You'd love it.
Never been.
Well, they call it the 3 states of Tennessee. If you're where I was in Johnson City and you go west, man alive, will you be driving forever. But anyhow, that said, because if you're going north-south, it's right through the state of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
East-west, not so much. But anyhow, Memphis is worth it. It's, great food, blues, Beale Street, good times.
Do you like Memphis more than Nashville?
I like both for very specific reasons. I've only been to Memphis once, so I would need to go back again. And that's what I'm saying. Let's go back to Memphis. Let's go. You'll go for the first time. I'll go for the second.
Who knows? Maybe there's like a regional there. I feel like the NCAA tournament always has a Memphis.
I'm ready to go. Well, I'm ready to go to either Nashville or Memphis. I like both. That's another story. Let's do this real quick because I was so long-winded with the opener. There was a lot to get to. What do you want me to do? This is Kendall Briles. Lane Hurd and him spoke, Seminoles.com, and this is kind of how Florida State's rolling him out without the official press conference, if you will. I understand it, and I don't have a problem with it. And this is just really about 5 minutes worth of snippets from the interview. It's a longer interview, but we just took about 5 minutes from it. In particular, offensive line, quarterback, wide receivers, and then overall what it means to be here.
Are there specific types of players that you like? But it does seem like you've had success a lot of different ways with different types of quarterbacks, even a legendary game against North Carolina with no real quarterbacks. Yep. Is there something that you like from a player specifically?
Well, guys that produce. Okay, I always go back to that. But it's our job as coaches to put guys in the best situation. So one of the things that I've kind of moved around a little bit here, and I hope to be in one place for a while now, but the thing that we always look for is how do we fit our system around the players that we have and the personnel that we have. So that's the first thing that you do. So going through the chase right now, getting to see those guys move, and there's not any balls, but you get to see the way that they move, the guys that can compete. And I'm not going to come in and say, this is a system, learn it. We're going to make sure that we fit it around our best personnel. That way we get our best guys the ball. And that's what we've done the last couple of years. So I think that'll have a chance to be productive.
What expectations do you have from your quarterbacks, whether from a communication standpoint, from what you expect from them on the field during a game in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, we expect those guys to, when you're talking about on the field, so play like they practice. And unless you're doing everything right on a daily basis, from good habits to showing up meetings on time to, paying attention to what's going on, then obviously, practicing at a high level, all that should work itself out, and on game day you go have fun. So my expectations on game days is just have fun and play the game, because you've put in all the work and you know where you should be, and I know where they should be. So at that point it's just going out there and playing. But definitely expectations are high from on and off the field, daily living from the quarterback position.
The wide receivers, you had Tamorian Terry, who had a breakout year last year as a big physical guy.
Yep.
Some of your smaller guys, the DJ Matthews, the Keyshawn Heltons, the Trayshawn Harrisons. What do you see from that room and those guys?
Yeah, KG being the only senior, but I think that room's explosive. I mean, I've been around some really good receiver rooms, and I see a lot of guys, first of all, that have a chip on their shoulder. And that's what I like about really this entire team, and I think the way that the program is moving with Coach Taggart is these guys aren't happy, about where they've been. They're not excited about just walking around wearing a Florida State jersey or shirt. They want to win, and they're very eager to do that. They want to learn, and that receiver room in general, those guys have an edge to them, and that's what you want in that room. And the good thing is there's a lot of really good players, and so you're going to have stiff competition. So those guys have got to compete at a high level every single day, and they've got a lot of talent to back that up as well. So I'm real excited about where those guys are at.
The offensive line faced a lot of scrutiny last season. Coming in, what do you do with that group, and what do you see from that group? Obviously, a lot of new faces too coming in from the recruiting class.
Yeah, I mean, last year was last year. It's a clean slate. So, everybody, for me and my perspective, is today and moving forward. It's not what the past has been. So, all the focus in that room now is just getting strong, getting mobile, making sure our body weights are where they should be. And then we're getting into the part now of being able to start talking a little bit of football and getting to that aspect of it. So when we do start spring ball, then those guys have a pretty good grasp of where we're at and what we can do, because it happens in a hurry for them. Our tempo is going to be high. They're not going to have a whole lot of time to think and figure out what's going on. So we want to run plays pretty quick. So I'm excited about those guys. I think same thing. They're ready to prove. Everybody talks about them not maybe holding up their end last year. So those guys are ready to get out there and go to work.
What are your biggest priorities once spring ball starts as far as working with the offense? What do you want them to get out of these 15 practices?
We want to make sure our mechanics and what we were trying to do from a mechanical standpoint, getting the signals, getting the play, making the calls, doing all those things. And we're going to have the athletes. So that part of it's going to come. But you want to develop that chemistry offensively, especially in the throw game, and then making sure that we fit our personnel that fits our schemes the best, and making sure we have the guys in the right position. We don't want to put a guy in a position where he's not comfortable or it's not the best thing for Florida State football. So we want to make sure that we do a good job as coaches of playing up to our personnel and getting our guys in the right position to help us be successful. And then we want to go out there and have fun and compete at a high level on a daily basis. So you only get 15 of them, so we've got to make them count.
What's it like coming to a school like Florida State with the history and the tradition? Is that exciting to you to be a part of that and having a chance to make your mark at a school like Florida State?
Absolutely. And I don't want to look at it as making my mark. I want to help Coach Taggart be the best head football coach in the country, and I want to help these players get to enjoy being successful because of all the hard work that they're putting in right now. And those guys got a high load socially and academically and playing the game and having to do all the things that they do. So it needs to be fun, and the way you make it fun is to win. So what I want to do is gain a lot of chemistry offensively within the staff and with our football players, so we're really, really confident when we take the field. That way we can go be successful so we can enjoy the fruits of our labor.
All of that having fun nonsense, Kendall. We're trying to win some damn games around here, buddy. Nobody's worried about fun. Fun when we're whooping ass. Sorry. I was just being a reactionary fan. But that's true. And I think certainly anybody that plays the game and puts in as many hours as coaches and players do know that is the deal, right? Hell of a lot more fun when you go out, execute, score a bunch of points in this case, and win football games. And listen, we know that these two working together, Randy Clements and Kendall Briles, produced some prolific offenses, including at one point a couple years back the number 2 offense in the country. The point totals have been there. The yardage per game is unbelievable in some cases, over 600 yards per game, et cetera. So I think at the end of the day, he said all the right things in that interview. Some things that caught my attention. Tom and I talked about this both off the air and kind of via text when we first heard these comments. And strikes me as interesting that he specifically noted that the offensive lineman, without saying it, Tom, might be a little doughy. A little out of shape, buddy.
Nobody said doughy. It's just that they need to get their body weights in order. That's all.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey,
they could
fats. Let's get it together. You're sloppy with boobs. I need you to be able to move, and we're calling plays now.
It's like
get their bodies together.
You're halfway there to being Bill Burr as the strength and conditioning coach.
Well, it made me laugh.
What's wrong? You want a sandwich?
Buck your shoulders up.
What?
You afraid of a little water?
Is that
buck your shoulders up.
Okay.
But no, I mean honestly, it's silly. You know, it just makes me fun. It makes me laugh because coaches and people in general, publicly, certainly me included at times, have to put things delicately. But obviously, it's our job here to read through that. And this was quite obviously him saying, "Hey, look, you're fat and out of shape. I ain't got time for it."
It looks like his philosophy, which is the thing that I was hoping to hear. But Walt Bell said a lot of right things early on in his tenure, too.
The problem
he
with
didn't
Walt
have the
Bell,
track record.
The problem, though, Tom, real quick, I'm glad you brought this up because I was going to say this. On the surface, and we joke about it, we play the question I asked him and his non-answer that took 10 minutes, is that he said a lot of things without saying nothing. So it was a whole lot of the, signifying nothing type thing that we look back on and go, you really didn't give me an answer there. What is it you do here? What is it you say you do here? We could ask again. And we still don't really know what he did.
Yeah.
And so at least when you listen to him, Kendall Briles, that is, and given the mandate and the money, you know what his job is. Sure. You know what he's tasked with doing. You know what he's been given permission to do. And there he lays out for you some specifics. And you go, oh, that's already better.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, his philosophy is produce. That was the key word he used early on, was to produce. And he doesn't care how it gets done, clearly. If you look at his track record and the differences in the offenses or how they use the personnel that they have available to him, he'll do by hook or crook whatever is necessary for 60 minutes to get the production where it needs to be, which is better for me than saying, let's just go run the football. We're going to be about running the football. Well, if you don't have an offensive line,
you can't go
what's
run
plan
the football.
B?
Yeah.
It sounds like this guy doesn't have a plan A. He's going to assess what he has, and then he's going to make the best of what he has, which is nice. You got to follow through on it, but it sounds like it's leading up to a place where, okay, if Tamorrion Terry's your best player and Trayshawn Harrison's your second best,
feature them.
Feature them.
Feature them. Yes.
Just chant it into existence.
I was so happy to hear it, and it's such a simple concept that as soon as he said it, I went, yes, I'm with you. Get the ball to your best players frequently.
I found we succeed in my stops along my career because there are some good players we have. They're different positions. But everywhere I go, I make sure the best player gets the ball more than the other players.
So, do you remember a while back when Nick Saban did the storytelling thing on ESPN, the little 2-minute clip, and he remembered back to when he was in high school and they were trailing by 6 and they're on the final drive and who the two best players were, and he called the plays when they came to the line of scrimmage. And one of his first coaching lessons was to go over to the sideline, and he was too nervous as a kid to make the play call. And he wants the head coach to call the play because he wants to deflect blame. He doesn't want to accept or shoulder the load. And his coach tells him, the guy's name, that's the wideout, and the guy's name that's at running back, and says, those are your two best players. I don't care what you call, but the ball better go to one of those two players.
Right.
So you can call anything you want, but it better go. So at the end of the day, you think players, not plays. There you go.
Right. And the other thing he said on the way out, and I don't know if he meant to say that. Sometimes coaches, they send messages. I think this was just his general stance on things. But he mentioned confidence on the way out. and getting guys confident by the weekend. That is a problem we've had for years. It's going to be tougher, I think, than Kendall even knows right now to change those habits and the confidence.
That only comes with wins.
It does, but that is his mandate, one of them, for the 7-figure salary.
Yeah, it is. And I shouldn't say it only comes with wins. It comes from doing the right thing consistently every single day and being rewarded for it in some capacity. Usually that equals wins.
Right, but if we drop a pass at a couple of positions, like tight end, for example, our guy has a drop pass in his first target, or maybe one of our smaller guys over the middle drops a pass.
How quickly do they revert to bad habits and or the mental sort of processes that lead to failure? Yes.
I think that's one of his biggest challenges, is to not let the snowball grow.
Yeah, reverting back to the things, the oh no, here we go again mentality. It does snowball on people, and that's in every sport, whether it's a team sport, an individual sport. Yeah, you got to find a way to break that pattern, and the way you break that pattern, again, is through repetition and success, time and again doing it right, so that you can't do it wrong, as Jimbo used to like to say, but that's true across the board, and a lot of people have that mantra. But what we won't know and what we can't know is whether or not it all comes to fruition with a victory against Boise State over in Jacksonville. And this is going to be somewhat, at least after spring anyhow, of an interminable wait as we try to glean something, and you can't, because we were promised a lot of things and we heard a lot of the right things in the offseason last year, and now most people would say, no, I'm immune to all that. You're not going to win me over with that. It may be true. Perhaps that's accurate. Perhaps this is something I should be excited about. But until I see it play out in a way that leads to victory on the football field, something competent, something cohesive, something consistent, I'm not going to buy in. And I understand that. I get it. I've said all along the fan base has a right to be frustrated. I see enough people online constantly bickering amongst each other, Florida State fans, fan on fan, sort of drive-bys verbally on social media about what you can and can't say after a season like that. Look, I'm not going to get into that, but what I will say is certainly if somebody's bitching about what they saw a year ago, let them do it, because they had every right to, and that's not the standard here. And Willie Taggart himself knows that and has talked about that. And for that, I'm thankful, because if you're going to bring up negativity constantly, which I don't think you should do as often as we have since the season ended, and I don't mean me and you, I mean him, I would say that you have to be willing to accept responsibility for that, and that some of the things that those people witnessed obviously led to that negativity, and that then from there you have to find a way to change the perception, and that only happens if you win games.
Well, yeah, I think Willie is tasked, obviously, with changing the culture, which he's trying to do, and elevate guys who want to win and want to practice hard day in and day out, do all the right things. But then beyond that, if you can flip the culture, you still have to flip the confidence. And that's where you need some big-time upgrades this year.
That's where, Tom, when you win 38-7 against Boise State over there in Jacksonville, and we all race to the landing for wings, oh, buddy, what a day that's going to be. What a Saturday afternoon that's going to be.
Boy, 45-cent wings if you present your ticket stub.
Woo! We're all wearing tank tops.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this. It's right here, guys. We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
CAC 057652.
There ain't no heating and air conditioning.
The Guardian Ad Litem program is seeking volunteers to help children in our community who have experienced abuse and neglect. Volunteer child advocates will be assigned to children in the child welfare system. Our volunteers meet with the children regularly, gather information from teachers, therapists, and physicians to identify any needs that they might have, and attend court hearings to advocate for the child. Over the past year, the program has seen an influx in the number of children being brought into care. The goal is for every child to have a guardian ad litem, to feel support, and to be heard. The program is in particular need of men. So, if there are any males out there who love children and want to help please reach out. Committing 8 to 10 hours a month will make all the difference in the life of a child. For more information or how to learn how to get involved, please visit www.gal2.org. That's www.gal2.org. Or contact Taylor Taschel at 850-606-1213.
Okay, that ought to do it. Thanks, Jessica, for coming over and helping me declutter my home.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Ooh, check it out. I found some loose change in this corner.
That is the second time you have found some hidden treasures in my house.
Do you know you can find savings in every corner of your home?
Okay, I'm listening.
You can find savings from the city of Tallahassee. With their 5% interest financing for more than 25 energy-efficient appliances, measures, and systems, you can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. It seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
The Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, who's celebrating their 95th year in business this year, would like to recognize their newest members.
Hi, I'm Corey Melton, the Vice President of Membership, and I'm proud on behalf of the Chamber to welcome our newest members from January. New York Life, Barlow Business Services, Tiny Docks Initiative, Lighthouse Health Plan, Prime South Properties, David McLeod, Bonefish Grill, Shred It Tallahassee, Meridian Place Apartments, AAA Tree Experts, St. Joe Company, Brennan Financial Services, 27 Auto Sales of Leon, Comfort Inn and Suites, Lund Chiropractic, Iconic Group, Studio B, a salon, Vitacan, Southern Standard Construction, Tallahassee Auto Auction, The Moon, Honeybee Concepts, Movement Mortgage, and Image Nail Spa and Salon.
For information on how your business can be a part of the Greater Tallahassee Chamber of Commerce, contact Corey Melton at 850-521-3104.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Xfinity delivers the fastest internet, the most Wi-Fi coverage throughout your home, and the most Wi-Fi hotspots nationwide. Only from Xfinity. Call, click, or visit an Xfinity store today to experience all Xfinity has to offer.
Ready to rule the open road? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy has what you need. Get huge savings on the 2018 Silverado 1500 during the Silverado Sell-Down Sales Event. Shop our huge selection today.
Find new roads at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet and at DaleJrChevy.com.
Seminoles, it's 2019 and a new football season is amongst us. It's a new day and we have an opportunity to build this program back to where it belongs, together. Every day we get one step faster, one rep stronger. The journey to the top includes you. We are one tribe together and we remain unconquered. We need you in Doak Campbell Stadium this fall, and that begins by getting season tickets now. Visit us online at Seminoles.com or call 1-888-FSU-NOLE and get ready to hear
Touchdown, Florida State!
Very soon.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Well, that's how busy we are. We went through this entire hour without really getting into the basketball game. I will do that momentarily at the top of next hour as Florida State tonight with an opportunity to go on the road and take home win number 7 in a row, move to 8-4 in the ACC. It would take them to 21-5 overall. Yes, very quietly amongst all the other things that happened, whether that be the Florida State football talk, the 4 games on the diamond with the Noles winning in baseball, and then of course also the softball tournament down in Clearwater St. Pete. There is the news of the choo-choo, which just keeps on rolling on as it is now 20-5 with a rather easy win on the road against really a bad Georgia Tech team now that is kind of spiraling. And the Noles did what they needed to. It wasn't the prettiest of games, but of course for Florida State, the defense has been on point over these last number of wins. And, that's the thing. The offense with this team is going to be somewhat inconsistent at times. Now, other times they can look elite. We know that. When they get 2 or 3 guys that are hitting outside shots, that opens things up underneath, and they're able to kind of do what they want. But that comes and goes with this team because they're a little streaky offensively. And for a long time, for half the season, they haven't been doing it as much, but for half the season they were turning it over per possession a little too frequently to find the consistency that you'd want offensively. And that's gotten better. I don't want to paint them as a poor offensive team. They're not. But the defensive commitment and the prowess is now such that really game in and game out, if they go through those stretches where they're not hitting shots, they're allowed to stick around and have an opportunity to still open it up later in the game because really possession by possession, they are locked in on that end. In this game, there was really no answer. Georgia Tech didn't have an answer for Florida State's size, didn't have an answer for Florida State's athleticism, didn't have an answer for Florida State's length, and it made for an ugly second half for the Yellow Jackets, who are just a sorry bunch.
For me, and I know that they are sorry on offense, but it started with that second half back here in Tallahassee when Georgia Tech was in town. And I get it that we didn't play well on the offensive side that half, but you saw the commitment, the effort, the rotation, all of that kind of stuff for 30 seconds. I mean, how many possessions did they have where they left Georgia Tech with no options, no good options for the entirety of the shot clock? And since that point, you've seen it for stretches of just about every game where Florida State's defense can take over. And, we're so used to seeing that little graphic come up on the bug on ESPN or the ACC network. Florida State, no field goals in 258, 259. Mm-hmm. Florida State, no field goals, last 4-12. But we make a bunch of free throws or something in that time. It's nice to see it for the other team a little bit more. And that's where we are right now is we found out a couple of weeks ago that with all the injuries, our defense was going to have to carry the day. It's doing that, and now our offense comes and goes, but when it comes, we're really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, and, we look at a lot of the measurements every week, and again, to start the next hour, I'm going to talk a little bit more specifics when it comes to Florida State Clemson tonight at the Little John. But, in almost every measure now with Florida State, whether you're just looking at the traditional rankings, Florida State is obviously a top 20 team in both polls. But now when you look at both the net rankings, 25th, top 25 in the net rankings as well, even better in the RPI. But Florida State and Ken Palm's rankings, if you have more faith in what that projects and what that portends for the postseason, Noles are sitting at number 20 there. So it's just really, no matter how you slice it, it's a top 25 team right now, and it's a 20-win team again, and that's 9 of the last 11 seasons that Florida State has won at least 20 games. So there has been a measure of consistency. Even when we were somewhat disappointing for a stretch, you have still been able to put together a respectable program, now just a downright good program. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with Ira Shafel going to join us.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
My people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they will know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Craft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Craft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Craft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
At Hardee's, we grew up. We stopped sleeping with our handmade nightlights and pacifiers. But there was one childhood classic we couldn't kick, the grilled cheese. So we made our grilled cheese grow up into a handsome bacon thick burger. Freshly toasted sourdough, melted Swiss, and American cheese with crispy applewood smoked bacon on 100% Black Angus beef. The grilled cheese bacon thick burger. Only available for a limited time because it's so grown up and it's very busy and has very little work-life balance.
Hardee's because it tastes better.
Available now for a limited time at participating Hardee's restaurants.
Want better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine? Change your oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. You know that sticker on your windshield? Don't look at it now. Wait until the next red light. Okay, check the number on your sticker. Then check your odometer. Is it time? There are 19 Tallahassee area Super Lube locations, which means there's one close to you right now. No appointments, and you're in and out in no time. You could do this today. Super Lube, for better gas mileage and a longer-lasting engine.
How I love to super lube my car, yes sir.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. Former NBA Commissioner David Stern says Colin Kaepernick would still have a job if he were a basketball player. Kaepernick's quarterback career in the NFL was cut short after he knelt in protest during the national anthem. Speaking on the Bloomberg Business of Sports podcast, Stern said that public criticism, particularly from President Donald Trump, may be weighing on National Football League owners. Stern says it's different for the National Basketball Association, which has made a priority of letting players promote and express themselves. The current NBA commissioner is reportedly a hot commodity. ESPN is reporting that Adam Silver has been approached by several NFL owners over the past few years about jumping over to take charge of their league. Silver has also reportedly been approached by some Fortune 500 companies. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Attention, everyone. I have a President's Day pro tip. You need to go to Dell.com/business deals right now because Dell's President's Day sale is live as we speak. And it's monumental. Get deals on Dell business computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and business tech, plus doorbusters up to 45% off. Call 877-BUY-DELL now to talk to Dell's small business technology advisors and get personalized help finding the best tech at President's Day prices. Free shipping included. Again, call 877-BUY-DELL.
Do you ever wonder how we're streaming millions of movies on demand or doing our banking from the beach? And how are we watching a live mission from Mars? Smart business minds dreamed these ideas, and Amazon Web Services is how they built them. With the broadest functionality and the most experience, the leading enterprises trust the AWS cloud to build the next big idea. Are you ready to build it? Learn more at awsishow.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The news came down a little more than 1 hour ago. Manny Machado agreeing to a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. Yes, the Padres seemingly coming out of nowhere this offseason to land one of the two biggest free agents on the market in Major League Baseball. Machado made $16 million last year between the Dodgers and the Orioles, and today he agrees to the richest free agent deal in the history of baseball. Machado had been looking at the big market teams like the New York Yankees or even the Philadelphia Phillies, but as ESPN baseball analyst Mark Teixeira notes, San Diego's not exactly a bad second option.
Listen, San Diego is not a bad second option. It's probably the most beautiful city in the major league. You get to spend, half of the year in a great city with a rabid fan base. When the Padres win, the fans show up. It is a great place to play, and he's got a chance to be a cornerstone for this franchise. And the Padres took a gamble here, and they're going to see if it pays off.
Mark Teixeira on SportsCenter earlier today. Machado had 37 home runs, knocked in 107 last year between Baltimore and Los Angeles. The 26-year-old joins Eric Hosmer as big free agents who have fled to the West Coast and the Padres over the last couple of years. Now the only question is when and where does Bryce Harper sign? To the NFL, Antonio Brown and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, met with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and their team president, Art Rooney II. Brown later tweeted that everyone has agreed it is time to move on and that a trade will be best for everyone. All of this was followed by Antonio Brown posting a video to his Instagram account where he said he's not playing without more guaranteed money. Steve Stricker tomorrow expected to be named the Ryder Cup captain for the U.S. squad for 2020.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We are online, ESPNTallahassee.com. You miss anything, you can go there and find it. You can listen via the stream that way, and you can also go to iTunes where we'll post all 3 hours of the program upon the conclusion of the show. It's also on the WTSM app. Hello, YouTubers. You can go there, too. Appreciate you watching us perform our radio duties on YouTube and Periscope. And if you want to find me on Twitter, it's at @JCameronShow. So it is. Let's roll on. Let's bring him in. I feel like I haven't talked to you in a long time, my good buddy. Rashafel, warchant.com. A lot of good stuff going on warchant.com right now. There's a lot to catch up with there. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good, man. It's interesting because things are humming. You know, we got a chance I went out to Hauser this weekend and enjoyed some baseball. Then I watched the softball over the weekend. Of course, the Knowles won in basketball. Got a game tonight. And then there's all the stuff with Kendall Briles and the firing of Greg Fry. So there's a lot going on. And then, of course, your series of articles on warchant.com that I've enjoyed or that I certainly want to direct people's attention to, because this is going to give you the big picture stuff with Coburn and what's going on with Florida State expenses and revenues, or lack thereof, for that matter.
Yeah. We spoke to David Coburn, the interim athletic director, last week. Jim Henry and I went over there and sat down with him, and he kind of explained the situation. I thought he was, pretty candid about the fact that, that they're in a bit of a bind right now. They got hit with some pretty significant expenses all at the same time that were not necessarily planned for. I mean, part of it was, a lot of the coaching transition costs, buying Willie out of his buyout with Oregon, and actually Oregon owed some money to USF that they had to pick up as well. And then, these other coaches that they've had to hire and fire. So that's the cost of doing business. But then also on top of that, they put in the new scoreboards at Doak. So there's been some kind of higher costs than usual, and then they've at the same time they've got hit with some soft revenue from season ticket sales and really ticket sales in general the last couple of years, and it's particularly concerning, obviously, going into 2019 when you're coming off a 5-7 season and you have a schedule that's really not all that attractive. So they're in a tough spot, but I think David Coburn's message was probably twofold. Number one, we're working at it. They're trying to go after it at a bunch of different angles to try to improve revenues. And then on the other side of it, he's basically kind of imploring fans to say, look, your fans, your Florida State fans, you may not love this schedule, you may not love what the program is right now, but we're going to come back, and we need you to keep buying tickets because, quite frankly, we need the support financially.
Yeah, and that will be an upcoming article, right, that you'll have about taking aim at lagging season ticket sales, I think is what I read that headline will read.
Yeah, actually, that story went up yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. My apologies.
No problem. And, and just, they've, the high watermark for season ticket sales for Florida State was, after the 2013 National Championship season, they sold about 45,000 season tickets. You go fast forward to last year where it's dropped into the 30s, and it's it's considerable. Each season ticket, you're talking about not just the season ticket, but in most cases also a contribution to Seminole boosters. And it's not just a Florida State issue. College football programs, really sports teams,
big time,
are all struggling to some degree.
Yep.
Because the home viewing experience has gotten so good. So, Florida State's not unique in that regard, but I think it's compounded by some other issues that are unique to Florida State.
Well, and at the end of the day, I know they're targeting, they got to find a way to create revenue, and they got to find a way to get people to come to games. And I don't want you to give anything away that they're not prepared to talk about yet. But what exactly can they do? Because at the end, Ira, they can kind of implore and even beg. But if you suck, it's tough to get people to say yes until you start winning games.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, and they understand the reality of it. And if you're 5-7 like they were last year, 7-6 the year before, basically a 500 team the last couple of years, and even before that, the year or two before that, people were not super excited, kind of about the direction of the program after the title run, and then what they did in 2014. So, they understand that that's part of it, but there are other things they can control, and even that they can control. I mean, I think you'd point to the fact that Willie's made a lot of changes to his coaching staff. There are things they're trying to do in terms of, the solidifying the program to improve the product, but then also, being a little bit taking a different approach with the football schedule. And Jimbo was willing to play some high-profile teams. Generally, though, if it was a neutral site game, they played Alabama and Atlanta. They played. A lot of teams were going to be hard to get home in home games, but and again, Jimbo I don't think was all that thrilled about giving the return game to some of those teams, and apparently Willie Taggart's very amenable to that, especially if it's an area where they can recruit. So if there's a team in the state of Georgia, the state of Texas, the state of California, states that Florida State can make a dent in recruiting, now you kind of get a double whammy. You get a high-profile opponent that helps your home schedule, and also it gives you a chance to play in one of those states. So he's much more agreeable to that, and basically David Coburn essentially guaranteed that in those odd number years, which is always the softer year when you only have Miami, because Florida and Clemson are on the road, that they're going to have a high-profile opponent in those years. Two of them are taken care of with Notre Dame in 2021 and 2029, but in those three other odd years between there, in the mid-2020s, David Coburn said there are negotiations to bring in high-profile opponents for those years to at least give, you got Miami, now you get a high-profile non-conference opponent, and then say maybe a Louisville steps up and has a good year, or say NC State or somebody like that has a good year. Now all of a sudden you've got a much more attractive schedule and an easier sell to season ticket holders.
Well, we're going to need it because obviously Miami's going to continue to suck. So we're going to have to find a way to really, bolster this thing. But so that means what? In the next week or two, we'll hear about the game against Georgia and Texas and USC. This is exciting.
That's exciting, isn't it? We're breaking it right now, right here.
That's going to kick ass. I can't wait. I've always wanted to go out to Austin and play that game, man, and have a home and home with Tejas. That'll be good. And Between the Hedges, that sounds like fun. And we'll revisit from back when I was in school the days of playing Southern Cal. All right, I'm all in.
I see it on the message boards now. Cameron and Iris, they were playing Texas.
Soon. So let me ask you this. You've sat across, I guess, what's the number, Ira? How many athletic directors over your career, FSU athletic directors, have you sat across from now? And then I'll follow that up by asking you this while you count. Coburn, how does he strike you? I guess, obviously, this was an interesting situation as he had to take on this role with no previous experience as an athletic director. He understands a lot of the elements that go with it, obviously. But also, Florida State not really being in a hurry to replace him if he's willing to stay on in this current role. I guess your thought, that's a two-part question, but how many guys have you sat across from, and how does Coburn strike you?
Well, I guess including interim ADs, it's 5. Vanessa Fuchs was in the interim position last time. But going back to Dave Hart, I was here for probably about half of Dave Hart's tenure, and they're all different to some degree. I mean, and they all bring something different. And really, that's the thing about that athletic director position. You'll see people say, "Oh, we need this kind of athletic director. We need that kind." A lot of times, part of it depends on who your president is, how active that person wants to be. And now, in this day and age, university presidents, because there's so much money involved in college football and college athletics, university presidents are more involved than they've ever been. You think back to when Sandy Dellenbert was president. He didn't want anything to do with Florida State sports. Athletics. It was there. He appreciated it, but he didn't want to get involved in it. Now, university presidents from TK to John Thrasher to even Eric Barron, who didn't want to be part of it, knew he had to.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
But David Coburn, he's a little bit different in the sense that he doesn't necessarily like being a front-facing guy. He's always worked behind the scenes. He was a chief of staff for a long time. He's always been the guy that kind of handled the nuts and bolts, the operation stuff behind the scenes, and kind of consulted. Now he has to be, a little bit more front-facing, talking to coaches, talking to boosters, talking to the media at times. But he's a super bright guy. And, what the big concern when he, inside the athletics department when he took over was, he was a budget guy for the legislature, and he made budgets work. And a lot of times that meant, you had to cut here, cut there, make deals to kind of, maybe tell this department or this agency, we're not going to fund you this year, but we will next year, and kind of work all that stuff. But a lot of times it was more on the expense side. So that concerned a lot of people in the athletic department because, hey, you're bringing in a guy that's going to cut and slash. And when he came in, he did cut some things.
Right, immediately.
Yeah, he did cut some budgets. He did not touch football recruiting, even though that was rumored. But he did cut some areas, about $600,000 out of the budget. But I thought one of the things that was interesting from this conversation was, he's realized now that he's been on the job for 6-7 months that you're not going to get to where you need to get by cutting. In college athletics, there probably is some fat that could be trimmed, but really they need to be focused on generating more revenue and creating more ways to cash in on the product that is Florida State sports. And so that's his direction right now. That's his goal. And, right now I think his primary goal is just to get back into the black. They're, trending in deficit the last couple of years and going into next year. So his big priority right now is just get back to either even or profitability. And then it's going to be, trying to grow even more. But at that point, maybe at that point he moves aside and they bring somebody else in. But yeah, he's still the interim athletic director. But right now, they're in the middle of basically a 3-year financial, let's say crisis. I would say crunch. And, his big task is to try to help them maneuver out of that.
Yeah, they got to navigate that. And I don't imagine, again, that, anybody's in a real hurry to take this job if it was offered to them with a departing president. And then secondly, I would think that, again, they want a money man, and he's known as a money man to help them navigate these, choppy waters.
Yeah, and that's, to me, from the beginning, I told people, when David Coburn stepped in that I wouldn't get too married to that interim title because, again, you have John Thrasher, the president, is, I think he's under contract through 2020, so another year. He told me, I talked to him last year about this, and he said, if the board wanted him to stay on for another year, he would consider it, but it didn't sound like he really wanted to do that. So my guess is he might be moving on in 2020, and if he's moving on in 2020, they may start the process of looking for his replacement late this year. So yeah, if you advertise for an AD's job right now with ostensibly a president who's going to be a lame duck within months, that would be not a very attractive job to a lot of candidates. So yeah, I think it makes sense for him to stay at least through 2020, and that also would get them through this financial situation. So my guess is David Coburn would be there until that time, and then maybe at that point you bring in a new president. He looks for his new athletic director. And, and then that person at least will get a department that's on much firmer ground. I think that was their big concern. They also didn't want to bring in the AD and say, here you go. Here's a department that's bleeding right now. Good luck. It'll be nice if they can bring somebody in who's on a little bit more solid footing.
Tomorrow we'll get a chance to, you, me, and Corey sit down and do similar headlines, and some of the meat will be about the things that have happened this offseason, so I don't want you to have to go too far in depth. But your thoughts on Randy Clements coming in, Greg Fry going out?
I think it seems like an obvious move. Kendall Briles and Randy Clements have been together. I think it's going to be important for Kendall Briles to have an offensive line coach, and this is not just an offensive line coach. Randy Clements basically was co-offensive coordinator at Baylor for a period of time. He was run game coordinator. I've read a little thing on a coaching video I watched from him, a month or so ago that He sounds like an offensive coordinator. He's not just, hey, this is how you block, but he sees football from a scheme standpoint. So I think he and Kendall Briles kind of go hand in hand. I think it's a good marriage. I think some people feel bad about Greg Fry, and I get it. The timing's not great. This is not a time of year where you want to be looking for a coaching job. But at the same time, Willie Taggart has to do what's best for Florida State. And if bringing these two guys in as a package deal gets that done, I think it's the right move for Florida State. And again, everything I've ever heard about Randy Clements is he's a very good offensive line coach. He's a very good offensive mind. So I think at the end of the day, Florida State's going to be better off for it. But I understand, again, some former players, people who know Greg Fry, aren't happy about it, and I get that. But I think at the end of the day, FSU has to do what's best for FSU.
Certainly, if you played with a guy or you're friends with a guy, you feel bad about him losing his job. That can be understood. Just so I have you on the record, yay or nay tonight on the road?
I'm done going against them. I think there's been one or two of these games in a stretch where I didn't think that they would pull it off. Certainly the Syracuse game. So I'm not going to say they're not going to do it, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me if they lost. I'll say Florida State's going to win. I'll tell you what, man.
You're just going to say that? You're just going to say it. There was no heart in that. You're like, I'm just going to say Florida State's going to win.
Well, I would say this. Watching them play these last 2 or 3 games, I mean, it's hard not to believe in them.
That's true.
This isn't a typical Florida State team. I mean, this team is now that they seem to be healthy. They're looking like a buzzsaw now. Clemson's a tough place to play. It can be. So we'll see. But I would go Florida State.
If Florida State wins this game, I'm putting them on another level, man, because I already like them, but this is a desperate Clemson team. They kind of have to have this game.
Yeah.
And so you overcome that desperation game at 9 o'clock at night on the road against a pretty good basketball team. Man, that means you're even more mentally tough than I realized. And obviously, physically, as you said, they're getting healthier and healthier, and we already knew they were skilled. Always appreciate it, brother. I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, Jeff. See you, man.
All right, take care. That's IrishFL, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
No matter the move or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
We buy in mass quantities and pass along the savings to you. 2018 Jeep Renegade Latitude, starting at $18,870. Payments as low as $299 a month. On the corner of West Tennessee and Capitol Circle, where we're right on the corner and always right on the price. Check us out on the web at TallahasseeDCJ.com. All prices include rebates and incentives plus tax, title, and dealer fee. State number 18J605. Must finance through Chrysler Capital and qualify for all rebates and incentives.
Hi, this is Peter Bond, owner of Jerry's Cigar Shop. Jerry's has been a local favorite for cigar enthusiasts for the last 25 years. We have the largest walk-in humidors in town, filled to the brim with an amazing cigar selection. Relax in one of our leather chairs and enjoy an ice-cold beer or a glass of wine with your cigar. Jerry's is a great place to watch sports on our big flat-screen TVs and offers a comfortable setting for lively conversation. Visit our original store on Scherer Road or our new second location on Cary Forest Parkway. We hope to see you soon.
The Guardian Ad Litem program is seeking volunteers to help children in our community who have experienced abuse and neglect. Volunteer child advocates will be assigned to children in the child welfare system. Our volunteers meet with the children regularly, gather information from teachers, therapists, and physicians to identify any needs that they might have, and attend court hearings to advocate for the child. Over the past year, the program has seen an influx in the number of children being brought into care. The goal is for every child to have a guardian ad litem, to feel support, and to be heard. The program is in particular need of men. So, if there are any males out there who love children and want to help, please reach out. Committing 8 to 10 hours a month will make all the difference in the life of a child. For more information or how to learn how to get involved, please visit www.gal2.org. That's www.gal2.org. Or contact Taylor Taschel at 850-606-1213.
You gotta be so cold to make it in this world. Yeah, you're a natural. Living your life cutthroat. You gotta be so cold. Yeah, you're a natural.
Alexa, play Imagine Dragons.
Okay.
'Cause you're a natural. I'm feeling hot as stone. You gotta.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get access to over 50 million songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Hi, this is David. Listen up. Deep South Kawasaki in Thomasville has excess 2019 side-by-side inventory, and it must go. Deep South Kawasaki is currently offering a 2019 Mule SX 4x4 for only $67.99. That's $700 less than the original MSRP of $74.99. Yes, that's right. Only $67.99 for a 2019 Mule SX 4x4. Supplies are limited, so don't miss out. Deep South Kawasaki is located on US 19 South in Thomasville.
After 40 years as Florida State Baseball's head coach, Mike Martin Sr. is making this his final season. Join all of us here at Garnet and Gold as we celebrate the farewell tour for the winningest coach in college baseball history with limited edition commemorative baseballs, t-shirts, and caps in stock right now. And while you're here, check out Nike's hot new line of FSU baseball jerseys, tees, and ball caps. Garnet and Gold with 3 locations, West Pensacola Street, Collard, and Governor Square Boulevard. If you're a Seminole, we're your store. Shop local and go Noles.
With baseball season comes springtime weather in Tallahassee. And that means it's time to hang out at The Deck. That's right, The Deck Pizza Pub in downtown Tallahassee. Open in the old Po' Boys location off East College Avenue, The Deck Pizza Pub is your pregame headquarters before all the action on the court or on the diamond. Enjoy Tallahassee's best Neapolitan pizza, crafted inside an Italian-manufactured wood-fired oven that burns over 900 degrees. The Deck Pizza Pub also serves up signature cocktails and craft beer all day, and especially during their happy hour or Saturday brunch. From the folks who brought you Metro Deli, the Deck Pizza Pub is downtown Tallahassee's new favorite spot for pizza and refreshments. Order online today at deckpizzapub.com.
Hey, this is FAMU beat writer Rory Sharrock. Join me Friday at 6 p.m. for the Rattler Review. We're talking all things FAMU. Great interviews with players, coaches, and alumni. The Rattler Review, Fridays at 6 p.m. right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, Tallahassee Sports Monster.
The Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Big store pricing with local service. Online at ctf.nu.
Bush anytime soon.
How to ruin a song. I do like reading this. The women's soccer team won its second national championship in December. The softball team is beginning defense of its 2018 national championship. The baseball team is ranked in the top 15 of the major polls. The men's and women's basketball teams are ranked in the top 20. The men's and women's track teams are in the top 15. Golf, swimming, and just about every other sport on campus trending in the right direction. That's just a fun thing to read, and it's true. It's all true.
As long as we bring home one of those beach volleyball championships this year.
We had it.
Come on.
We had it.
They had it.
That's close.
That was pretty good.
Off the top of my head, that wasn't bad. All right, so Florida State, the aforementioned game on the road tonight against Clemson, and I would just say that you like how I tried to pin him down. I was trying to give me that. I'm just going to say they're going to win. Well, you can't do that, flippant. You can't do that because you can always fall back off of that. You can always just say, well, you could hear in my voice I wasn't serious.
I'm going to pick Clemson tonight because I picked against the Noles, and they keep proving me wrong, so I'm going to pick against them again.
Well, you didn't pick against them against sorry-ass Georgia Tech.
No, but we didn't really discuss that one in depth, but we did for Louisville and Syracuse, picked against them.
How just cruel is that, the way we just kind of spit on Georgia Tech? Like, we were here last week.
It's not cruel. You met a Georgia Tech fan?
No, I know.
Befitting.
But I just think it's funny that here we were on the show, doing the show. Yeah. We were able to talk about the upcoming game, and we were kind of like, we don't have any time for you, Georgia Tech.
I enjoy when they live in that hole. You just stick to your graphing calculators.
You stay right there.
Yeah.
Go talk to the guy next to you and the guy next to him and the guy next to him and the guy next to him and all the guys that you're next to in the classroom and all those other guys.
Check out this parabola I just made.
Can you imagine a conversation beginning that way?
Well, no.
I can at Georgia Tech, Jeff.
That's right.
That's exactly how that conversation begins.
I didn't go to school at Tech, man, so no, I can't.
I remember leaving that stadium when they were under construction, and the Rooster threw a pick six, but we won the game. And it was funny because Winky came back. And long story short, we're leaving the game, and their fraternities are screaming at us about how. I mean, it was a classic stereotype.
Yeah,
just these geeky
forevermore, and it's
unbelievable.
But I walked into that place, that town, with an open mind, and twice, the second time I came back, I said, that must have just been, every fan base has these guys.
Everybody, that's true. That is absolutely true.
It is as true as there are no women on that campus.
Mm-hmm.
That they will always be.
You get a lot of pent-up frustrations, and it's evident while you're there. Yes, especially because they're so frequently on the wrong end of losses to Florida State over the years.
They're, hashtag a-holes for different reasons, but it's like NC State and Georgia Tech. I really can't find too many people who give them positive reviews as a fan base. NC State is hated by everyone. Going to the ACC tournament, basketball tournaments over the years. Mm-hmm. And then, you talk with North Carolina fans and Duke fans. They're like, we're both here. This is an exhibition.
But see, that's because North Carolina and Duke have championships to fall back on that if things get – I mean, they have that in their back pocket. You can't say anything to them. They know it. They'll just be like, rangs. But
they'll be like, what?
Rangs. But then they become Miami fans all of a sudden. But then but Georgia Tech, NC State, what the hell are they going to say?
Well,
we've never won nothing.
That's what, but
you got to go back to Valvano. But
does a USF fan bother you? I know we're not in the same conference, but you know what I mean? Like, if they're the same area,
they're insignificant. Nobody thinks about USF.
Right, but North Carolina and Duke fans, they don't say they're insignificant. They say, I hate them. And they talk to each other on the MARTA when we were driving.
They're yelling at each other.
They're
on the MARTA.
Like Florida State. All right, you guys are pretty good this year. As long as we beat NC State, and Duke fans are like, yep, screw those guys.
So they're the redheaded stepchild of the triangle.
Duke and Carolina
I guess.
can get along. They can get down with that.
As long as they're hating on NC State.
Yes, it's weird.
We're one game ahead of Virginia Tech in the loss column. If we are able to get the road win tonight, we will have one game ahead of the loser of tomorrow night's Louisville-Syracuse game, and that matchup's at 7 o'clock tomorrow. And that would be a nice position to find yourself in. You would be sitting pretty and in a position because of the head-to-head victories over both those teams, Louisville and Syracuse, that is. Both have fallen at the hands of Florida State to be that top 4 seed.
Yeah, this feels like the one. If you get this one, you are
yes,
you are in control of your own fate for a double bye, right?
I think so. Yeah, it does feel that way, right? There's a lot of things I'd like to see tonight. Obviously, I'll take a victory of any kind, but can we get PJ Savoy to matter? Tough Love Cameron came at him hardcore last week.
He had an okay game against Wake last week.
My man with the 4 points, 1 of 6 shooting against Tech, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 17 minutes. I don't know, man. I just feel like
he's going to hit 2 big threes tonight. How about that? Positive love from me. He's going to hit 2 shots.
I want 5. I want 5 out of you.
We needed those shots.
PJ, I need 5 of them. Make it rain.
Rangs. See, I can't do that. I sound like strung out Jimbo when I do it.
Rangs.
Yeah, but you got it.
Raekwon Gray, you know what? I love him more than the productivity level that he gives us. I do. Yep. He's just, there's something about him. There's a lot to like about Raekwon. Of course, Leonard would tell you, sand pits. But Raekwon, 7 points, 3 of 6, 1 of 3 from beyond the arc, and 2 rebounds and a steal in 10 minutes off the bench. Every time he comes in, I go, there's my man.
That's like the second tight end on NFL rosters. Everybody loves that guy. Everybody loves Todd Yoder. Like, man, I like that Todd Yoder.
I don't care for Todd Yoder.
You don't like Todd Yoder?
Got no time for Todd Yoder. I don't even have time for, what's his face, who we found out had a broken spleen or whatever was his problem this past year.
Cam Brate.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's dropped passes. Lots of them.
Like it's his job.
At one point, O.J. Howard was tight end, too.
O.J. Howard is quite clearly tight end 1.
Yes, he is
Cam
now.
Brate is quite clearly tight end 2, who I lost patience with, but again, afterwards we found out, wasn't he broken? What was wrong with him?
He was broken.
He was broken.
It's just
like,
that was
literally,
it.
He was broken. What was wrong with him?
It was like off-season surgery for Cam Brate. It said in the bottom line, parentheses, broken. Yeah.
Well, Jameis didn't do him any favors. Make that catch, Cam. We need this.
He has it. That guy
Beheaded.
folded over like he's folded like a clam. How many times a season because of Jameis? Oh my God. He's like,
that's trust, Cam. That is trust. Jameis trusts you.
J-Boo, you've got progression 1 wide open in the flat, and it's a first down. You're coming to me.
But I love you, Cam. Make that catch.
Do you just like seeing me get hit?
Do you think they're in the film room together? And Cam has to be diplomatic. Jameis is a smart guy, and so is Cameron Brate, obviously. Harvard guy, right? Yeah. So they're sitting there talking amongst each other, and then Cameron he's in the league because of Jameis. So on the one hand, he's pretty grateful. On the other, he's watching video of him getting sandwiched, getting just absolutely brutalized. It looks like the worst thing you've ever. And good throw, J-Boo. Listen, can we back that up a little bit? I want to point something out. Not for nothing, just saying. We seem to have a guy here in the flats.
Humphreys
got a lot of room.
Humphreys
to run.
has 20 yards.
I
don't trust him.
Well, Jameis, you do throw to him, and I notice he's also in traffic when you tend to hit him. What's going on here?
Meanwhile, they get a text, and it's from Kenny Shaw. Don't let him tell you anything different. He likes to see people get killed.
Well, here's the deal. When he trusts you, because he did the same thing with Nick O'Leary. He would, Jameis doesn't want to admit this, and we don't like to bring race into the subject matter like everybody likes to do all around the country, but Jameis loves him some white tight ends. That's just the reality of the situation. He trusts white And with
he loves to get him killed. It's an ulterior motive.
MyPillow.com, a 4-pack special. Cameron Brate, Nick O'Leary, Humphreys, you name them, they're all resting comfortably after their games in which Jameis finds them in very tight windows.
Yeah, does MyPillow have a body pillow?
They got a new mattress.
It's called a mattress.
It's called a mattress.
Right.
Pillow topper.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're calling it. MyPillow.com. 4-pack special is what you want. If you use my promo code, well, that's a good thing. Use the promo code 979ESPN. And right now they're shipping it for free. You get 2 MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows. That's a good thing. And it's a money-back guarantee all the way through the end of March. That's a long time. Moreover, you can wash them, you can dry them. I guess moreover is you sleep better on them. I do every night. So does my wife. Good stuff. You can get yours right now. MyPillow.com. Promo code 979ESPN.
Quick question now with the Florida State receiving core. If it's not Tamori and Terry, it can't be. It can't be the answer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Who do you trust most over the middle right now? 3rd and 9, gain of 10, in traffic.
I don't know. Nobody.
Right, we got to find one of
somebody's got to emerge, right? There's got to be a guy that. But Tom, you're forgetting. Once this offense starts to hum, which we know it will, there's nobody in traffic. They're all wide open. They're running for days, buddy. Nobody even on your screen if you're watching at home. That's just that Kendall Briles flow. Look at that. Schemed him wide open
Trick
again.
question. It was a quarterback run. They never saw it coming.
No, I actually don't. A serious answer there. We don't have that guy, and certainly we always had that guy. There may be somebody on this roster. You would have said, frankly, if he bothered to care on a play-to-play basis, that guy is Naquan Murray, and he's gone now, obviously. But Naquan did have heart in that sense. He would catch the ball in traffic.
I feel like Keyshawn Helton is the leader in the clubhouse, but that's not quite the catch radius you're looking for on a 3rd and have to have it.
Keith Gavin?
No. You could argue his drop against Virginia Tech set us off on the path to darkness. Darkness, despair, and losses.
Let's roll Bavion Johnson out in the middle on a tight end, a waggle. You got to be good for something, Bavion.
Well, if he is, I suppose this new staff is going to find it, right? Get his weight right?
Oh, get his weight right. That ought to be an interesting test. Speaking of sand pits, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Bowls. That's very interesting. What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
Okay, that ought to do it. Thanks, Jessica, for coming over and helping me declutter my home.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Ooh, check it out. I found some loose change in this corner.
That is the second time you have found some hidden treasures in my house.
Do you know you can find savings in every corner of your home?
Okay, I'm listening.
You can find savings from the city of Tallahassee. With their 5% interest financing for more than 25 energy-efficient appliances, measures, and systems, you can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. It seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The news came down a little more than 1 hour ago. Manny Machado agreeing to a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. Yes, the Padres seemingly coming out of nowhere this offseason to land one of the two biggest free agents on the market in Major League Baseball. Machado made $16 million last year between the Dodgers and the Orioles, and today he agrees to the richest free agent deal in the history of baseball. Machado had been looking at the big market teams like the New York Yankees or even the Philadelphia Phillies, but as ESPN baseball analyst Mark Teixeira notes, San Diego's not exactly a bad second option.
Listen, San Diego is not a bad second option. It's probably the most beautiful city in the major league. You get to spend, half of the year in a great city with a rabid fan base. When the Padres win, the fans show up. It is a great place to play. And he's got a chance to be a cornerstone for this franchise. And the Padres took a gamble here, and they're going to see if it pays off.
Mark Teixeira on SportsCenter earlier today. Machado had 37 home runs, knocked in 107 last year between Baltimore and Los Angeles. The 26-year-old joins Eric Hosmer as big free agents who have fled to the West Coast and the Padres over the last couple of years. Now the only question is, when and where does Bryce Harper sign? To the NFL, Antonio Brown and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, met with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and their team president, Art Rooney II. Brown later tweeted that everyone has agreed it is time to move on and that a trade will be best for everyone. All of this was followed by Antonio Brown posting a video to his Instagram account where he said he's not playing without more guaranteed money. Steve Stricker tomorrow expected to be named the Ryder Cup captain for the U.S. squad for 2020.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. It's Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Once again, all of you with stellar credit ratings, congratulations. And this message is not for you. All last year, I talked about our New For You program to assist good people with dings in their credit. And just last week, a friend of mine came into my office worried about his own credit rating. But thanks to our New For You program, you guessed it, he drove away in a brand new Nissan Altima. We are proud of the fact that we have helped hundreds of people that were previously limited shopping little used car lots where they overpaid, got huge finance charges, and had very few choices on cars to purchase. Some of those lots may actually hurt your credit more than they could ever help. So remember, credit score under 600? Come on in. Recent bankruptcy? Come on in. Recently divorced? Come on in. Think you have a financial problem we've never heard of? Come on in to Kraft Nissan. And come see the one dealer in Tallahassee that can really help you out. Come see the cars that everyone wants at the hottest dealer in town, Kraft Nissan. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Or visit us on the web at craftnissan.com.
Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. Shop over 100 in stock today.
Find new roads at Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet and at DaleJrChevy.com.
Golick and Wingo.
Antonio Brown went to Twitter. He said goodbye to Steelers fans.
The one thing about this is we've seen football players who would like to get traded, but football players have zero leverage. Where basketball players have a ton more leverage, football players, if they don't want to play for you and you say, well, you're just going to sit out then, and then they don't get paid. Last I checked, Antonio Brown's under contract for 3 more years. So Antonio Brown can make all the trade demands he wants. Bottom line is, he got a nice contract. If he wants to complain and not show up, he just won't get paid.
So you know what this all points to.
Yeah, I heard
Antonio Brown's going to be a New England Patriot this fall. Just start preparing yourselves for it now. And the Patriots, I'm sure, could find a way to maybe finagle a couple of defensive players in there. They'll find something to throw in there in the trade value and all this. They'll get Antonio Brown, and they'll have the ultimate ripcord to pull in this one because, A, the Patriots just cut anyone to begin with. B, they could do it and get off scot-free.
Golick and Wingo, weekdays at 6 a.m. on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I had an old man yell at me this morning at 6:40, and it was awesome. A glorious moment. Sent me down the path to happiness today. It's not often you have to be somewhere in an appointment at 6:30 in the morning, but I did today. And some of you have seen this. I tweeted it out. But it was the LabCorp people. If you got to give blood, Tom, I'm going to give them a little love here today. I don't know if they spend money or not. Maybe we'll get them on someday. But here's what I'll tell you. They know what the hell they're doing. At least the one behind the McDonald's on Capitol Circle. Those kids are rocking. You walk in, you turn your license upside down, you put it under a little red thing. It goes beep, beep, you're checked in. They walk you up to the counter. They go, here's your pee cup. Let's go. You go. They want you to go. You get in there, you do your peeing, and I was smart this morning. I've made mistakes before where I ended up stuck in the lobby for like an hour trying to pee with a mental block, but I guzzled water and coffee this morning. I walked right in there having to pee. I was like, give me the cup, come on. So happened right off the bat. Filled that sucker up.
You got a jug?
I had, by the way, that's a precarious deal because they give you just a little cup.
Yep.
You got more than that cup can hold.
Right.
So you got to set yourself up right.
That's right. Yeah.
I went through the machinations. I was like, all right, what am I going to do here? So, okay. So I got to be by this toilet because I got to do the switchy-to-do
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to make it a fire hose situation.
Well, you know what the key there is. You just got to sit down and handle it there.
But I'm not going to sit down.
Okay,
that's
the pride, huh?
You know, I don't know if it's the pride effing with me, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Lots of people pee in there. Lots of people pee in there. I don't want to be anywhere close to the.
Well, you can take the little cover off.
You could.
I got the little covers. It's like the same material they put on the hospital beds or the doctor's office.
I don't like that material. I'm just not a fan.
It's not styrofoam.
No, but you know what? You can do the super squat. You can do like a crouch.
Yeah, sure.
You got to do a little simultaneously. We don't want to get
That's what Tom Base Physical Therapy used to say. He's like, that's what he did because he was always engaging his muscles. So even if he went to use the restroom,
he squatted.
Yeah.
Oh my. That's ridiculous.
He said that. Yeah.
Well, good Lord, Tom. You know I love you, but that's insane.
Yeah, he's always
I
working on
you. I mean him.
He's always working on his strength, man.
Oh, good Lord, get over it. All right, so here's what I would tell you. Anyhow, I successfully navigated those waters, if you will, and was able to provide the urine sample without whizzing all over their bathroom, which I'm sure they were thankful for. But moreover, they got you to the back really quick. But so I get done peeing, hand him the cup, and well, you don't hand it to him. You leave it there on the tray for him to come in and get. So then I walk out, and I say to the lady, I'm like, you don't want me to walk this over to you? She goes, nope, leave it there. We'll have somebody come get it. Your name's on the cup. I go, okay, good. I go sit back down. She goes, we'll call your name in just a second. Literally, less than a minute later, they called my name. But I sat down, and in that 1 minute that I sat down to just, peruse the internet at 6:30 in the morning, this old man, just grumpy as all hell, hat pulled down low with his glasses on, is eyeballing me. I mean, just staring, knives through me. I'm like, why? What is the deal with this guy? And I'm thinking, I don't know, is he a fan of another team? Did I say something at one time? And then I thought, oh, don't be so arrogant. He doesn't know you. And then he goes, hey, he yells it loud. So there's only 3 of us in the lobby. Everybody looks up, kind of half in their slumber. What the hell? Hey! Yes? He goes, I know you. I was like, oh, see, he does know me. He's going to be mad about some take I had on the air. And then he goes, you came over to my house to do some work. And I go, no, I'm just shaking my head no. He goes, yeah, you did. You came over and you did terrible work. Terrible work. And I go, no, it wasn't me. He goes, what is your name? He is interrogating me in the lobby. And the girl opens the door and she goes, Jeff Cameron? And I go, that's me. I go, hey, I'm in radio, man. I've never been to your house. He's like, he wouldn't buy it.
So the wheels were turning.
Yeah.
I was like,
But then it was funny. He gave me that look where he wouldn't just say sorry or okay. He went,
I'm going to have to weigh that.
Yeah, I'm not so sure. That sounded like it might be legit. So what I didn't tell you was the finish to that. I go back, give blood. Girl was really good. Didn't even feel anything.
This is probably like the 6:30 appointment fast pass thing. If you had like a 10 a.m. appointment, I doubt it goes this quickly.
My wife says basically if you have an appointment, you're good. If you don't, you're screwed. So their thing is they got you if you called it ahead.
Okay.
If you don't, you may be sitting a while, which makes sense. Make appointments. Yeah, that's what you do. So they had my stuff all over there in the computer, good to go, blah, 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 blah. You got to do this all in the build-up to a physical, which I'm not looking forward to. I mean, at my age, physicals are not cool.
Right.
So
I got that coming
up next month. So the doctor says, hey, get your blood work done so we can check on the lipids and everything we need to know. And then you come in. And then
I'm going to have to get like a sound effect for the board of the latex glove, like slapping, with the wrist.
I was going to say.
When they check it, like they tighten it, goes, that's the.
Well, you know what stinks is, and it's funny, I got to give my doctor credit. I won't name him here, but he knows it's uncomfortable for all parties involved. So he'll be like, so we're at the end of the exam, and we just kind of do the Christian Bale, Kermit the Frog nod, where we just look at each other and kind of, So go ahead, say it. I'm gonna walk out if you don't say it. You're gonna have to say it, and then he'll do the. So you're 47, you got kids. We want to stay out in front of things. Just more nodding. I'm still not good. I'm still not acting. I'm not moving. I'm not making it easy for him. And then he'll go, so, why don't you drop your pants? I got to make him say it. I don't know why. That's probably a jerk on my part, but I'm going to make him say it because he might not. And then I'll be like, have a good one. Yeah. So anyhow, I do that every time.
If you want the money, you got to ask for the money.
You got to ask for the money. So here's the thing. I do this, I give the blood in the build up to all that. When I come back out, old dude's still sitting there and he's looking down at the floor and he looks up to see me and we meet eyes again. And it's like, I was in and out at 6:40 in the morning. I was so pleased. I got time for coffee and breakfast. I'm off to a good start. So I go to walk out and our eyes meet and he goes, radio, huh? I go, yeah. He goes, what station? And I'm wearing the shirt. You can see I'm wearing the shirt. So I just pointed at it. I go, ESPN radio. He goes, I used to own a radio station in the 60s. I go, you did?
You're like, okay.
I go, really? He goes,
this is my cue.
He goes, yeah, an AM one. Well, that's great.
The most were in the 60s.
And it was funny. It was funny because I just nodded my head again and went, all right. And he goes, it was a long time ago. Have a good day, sir. That was the end of it. That was my morning. I thought, this is perfect. And when I got in the car, David Bowie's Heroes was on. I went, this is the best morning I've had in years. What a morning. What a morning. Cranked that up my way to get some coffee, went on home, kissed the kids, sent them to school, came in here. That's a good morning right there. Random old people yelling at you in lobbies is funny.
Maybe he can be an account executive for us and he can go sell to the to his peers.
Well, LabCorp, I don't know what you would advertise. It's not an enticing thing, but you've got an advocate right here. I would sing the praises of the LabCorp. Those girls that were working, they were all ladies, so I wasn't being derogatory. Those girls really know what they're doing. They were just flying through. Ladies, women, professionals. Fantastic. Just knocking it out. Well,
you know what'd be funny is if that guy didn't have an appointment. That's just what he does. That's what he does on Tuesdays.
I know you. To every single person.
Nobody ever kicks me out. Old people are supposed to kind of be here.
There's air conditioning.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with Easy Laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's Easy Laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock.
Are you ready to experience an awesome fishing expedition? Sea Quarters Marina is home to several great charter services. All charters are customized based upon the types of fishing opportunities available and the type of fishing the customer requests. The Northwest Gulf Coast offers a variety of different angling adventures thanks to unspoiled back county islands and crystal clear flats. For more information regarding charters, call Sea Quarters Marina at 697-8400 or online at seaquartersmarina.com.
Hendrick.
Are you ready to rule the open road? Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet has just what you need. Right now, get huge savings on the 2018 Silverado 1500 during the Silverado Sell Down Sales Event. So hurry in to shop our huge Silverado selection at Tallahassee's Chevy Truck Headquarters. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy on West Tennessee or DaleJrChevy.com. Find new roads.
Hey, sports fans, who's on your Mount Rushmore of baseball? I'm going with Ruth, Cobb, Aaron, and Mantle. Football, I've got Bradshaw, Peyton, Montana, and Brady. In basketball, Jabbar, Jordan, Bird, and LeBron. This debate could go on and on, but when it comes to the Mount Rushmore of personal injury law in Tallahassee, the choice is clear. Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey. Recently voted Tallahassee's best law firm, so avoid the underdog and go with the favorite, Fonville, Lewis, Messer, McConaughey.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Everybody knows that the holiday season is also known as engagement season. Now that the season's over, it's time for some planning. Social Catering has several options for your wedding event and catering needs. They're Tallahassee's largest catering company, and they manage event spaces at venues like Madison Social, Township, and The Gathering. They can plan all of your wedding events, engagement parties, bridal brunches, rehearsals, even wedding receptions. No new rock on the finger? Hey, doesn't matter. Whatever the event, they've got you covered. For more details, email matt@madisonsocial.com. Again, that's matt@madisonsocial.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show podcast, available on demand at ESPNTallahassee.com and on iTunes today. The Jeff Cameron Show podcast is brought to you by Garnet and Gold of Tallahassee. When you buy FSU apparel, support local business. GarnetandGold.com.
Hi, this is David. Listen up. Deep South Kawasaki in Thomasville has excess 2019 side-by-side inventory, and it must go. Deep South Kawasaki is currently offering a 2019 Mule SX 4x4 for only $67.99. That's $700 less than the original MSRP of $74.99. Yes, that's right. Only $67.99 for a 2019 Mule SX 4x4. Supplies are limited, so don't miss out. Deep South Kawasaki is located on US 19 South in Thomasville.
With a Bloomberg Business of Sports report, I'm Michael Barr. Former NBA Commissioner David Stern says Colin Kaepernick would still have a job if he were a basketball player. Kaepernick's quarterback career in the NFL was cut short after he knelt in protest during the national anthem. Speaking on the Bloomberg Business of Sports podcast, Stern said that public criticism, particularly from President Donald Trump, may be weighing on National Football League owners. Stern says it's different for the National Basketball Association, which has made a priority of letting players promote and express themselves. The current NBA commissioner is reportedly a hot commodity. ESPN is reporting that Adam Silver has been approached by several NFL owners over the past few years about jumping over to take charge of their league. Silver has also reportedly been approached by some Fortune 500 companies. And that is a Bloomberg Business of Sports report. I'm Michael Barr.
Attention, everyone. I have a President's Day pro tip. You need to go to Dell.com/business deals right now because Dell's President's Day sale is live as we speak. And it's monumental. Get deals on Dell business computers with 8th Gen Intel Core processors and business tech, plus doorbusters up to 45% off. Call 877-BUY-DELL now to talk to Dell's small business technology advisors and get personalized help finding the best tech at President's Day prices. Free shipping included. Again, call 877-BUY-DELL.
Do you ever wonder how we're streaming millions of movies on demand or doing our banking from the beach? And how are we watching a live mission from Mars? Smart business minds dreamed these ideas, and Amazon Web Services is how they built them. With the broadest functionality and the most experience, the leading enterprises trust the AWS cloud to build the next big idea. Are you ready to build it? Learn more at awsishow.com.
Driving every day from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The news came down a little more than 1 hour ago. Manny Machado agreeing to a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. Yes, the Padres seemingly coming out of nowhere this offseason to land one of the two biggest free agents on the market in Major League Baseball. Machado made $16 million last year between the Dodgers and the Orioles, and today he agrees to the richest free agent deal in the history of baseball. Machado had been looking at the big market teams like the New York Yankees or even the Philadelphia Phillies, but as ESPN baseball analyst Mark Teixeira notes, San Diego's not exactly a bad second option.
Listen, San Diego is not a bad second option. It's probably the most beautiful city in the major league. You get to spend, half of the year in a great city with a rabid fan base. When the Padres win, the fans fill up. It is a great place to play, and he's got a chance to be a cornerstone for this franchise. And the Padres took a gamble here, and they're going to see if it pays off.
Mark Teixeira on SportsCenter earlier today. Machado had 37 home runs, knocked in 107 last year between Baltimore and Los Angeles. The 26-year-old joins Eric Hosmer as big free agents who have fled to the West Coast and the Padres over the last couple of years. Now the only question is when and where does Bryce Harper sign? To the NFL, Antonio Brown and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, met with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and their team president, Art Rooney II. Brown later tweeted that everyone has agreed it is time to move on and that a trade will be best for everyone. All of this was followed by Antonio Brown posting a video to his Instagram account where he said he's not playing without more guaranteed money. Steve Stricker tomorrow expected to be named the Ryder Cup captain for the U.S. squad for 2020.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. We appreciate you. I don't know if Tom does. I do. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. If you miss anything, go back and caught up. All 3 hours posted upon the conclusion of the show. Man, what a busy, long weekend it was. Off and on today, we've kind of dipped our toes in all the waters. You had Florida State baseball back on the diamond. That was a hell of a good thing there. Enjoyed going out to Dick Howser Stadium, Mike Martin Field, to watch the 4-game sweep. And then, in addition, of course, Florida State gets yet another win, a dominating win, especially on the defensive end over Wake Forest. Now tonight, here we go against Clemson on the road. And I'll tell you what, you get this one, Tom, as we talked about last week, all of a sudden, really it's kind of it's icing on the cake. You're really in a position to where the rest of the season is intriguing as far as seeding goes, but really the suspense about whether the tournament's going to happen or not will be out the window with a win tonight. In many ways, you can argue that maybe to some degree it already is. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but Florida State's in a real good position after rattling off 6 straight. Kendall Briles has finally spoken. You'll hear audio from him in a moment. Lane Hurd doing a good job sitting down with him for Seminoles.com. We cherry-picked some audio there. Didn't need the whole interview. I think people want to hear from him, so if you're jumping in your car, I've got audio for you in a moment regarding that. But since we last talked, of course, everybody knew it was coming. Randy Clements was going to make his way to Tallahassee and be the new offensive line coach. I guess the only question was whether or not he would be a singular offensive line coach or would Coach Fry still be on this staff. He is not. That rubs some people the wrong way. I don't know how you couldn't see that coming. We were talking a while back that it looked likely that if in fact Kendall Briles was hired and he was able to bring over his offensive line coach, that Coach Fry wouldn't be here. And listen, as much as it's a timing issue, people don't like the way it was handled and how late in the game he was let go in terms of getting another job and having an opportunity. I get it, man, but I'm not losing sleep. And I know he's an alum, and it's a shame. That offensive line, while lacking in ability, also struggled across the board, whether it's technique, they weren't in shape, they weren't consistent, they were awful. In every way, shape, and form you could really imagine an offensive line being awful. And some of that, certainly not all of that, he inherited a nightmare, but some of that's on him too. So when you're trying to save your job, let's just say it. I mean, it's not so hard to understand here. This is not a mystery. Willie Taggart, after a disastrous year one, has now gone in this offseason and done everything possible to save his job. An upgrade at wide receivers coach, and that you bring in Ron Dugans, who we know can recruit. He comes home, well thought of in the coaching community. I think he'll do a great job. Kids respond to him. Walt Bell moves on. If he had fired Walt Bell, which many people think was kind of maybe in the cards anyhow, as opposed to him taking the job, but he moves on, and you bring in Kendall Briles. You know, thinking back to Ira's column a while back, if all this was done succinctly, if all this was done with Alonzo Hampton being fired as a special teams coach, making a change to bring in a very well-thought-of offensive line coach, if all of this had been done in the span of a couple of weeks, would we not say bravo for understanding the magnitude of the situation, for understanding that, man, you don't have time to worry about the way the optics look or the way that people might feel about certain things? You got to save this program. You got to save your ass. We would applaud that because desperate times call for desperate measures. These are clearly desperate moves, but they're not wrong moves, we don't think. These are all universally praised, I think, from people in football as being great hires, good decisions, good choices to replace those that weren't getting the job done. End of story. And it's not a good look because it means you failed on the front end, but you can't afford to fail on the back end, so you got to do something about it.
Well, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you need to handle that, drawing up a game plan Monday through Friday, if you can give it to somebody else, then you have time to go over these other things.
Without question.
And that's recruiting. That's in-house stuff. Making sure that the kids, when they get on campus, they feel welcome. And I get it. Willie's a great closer in the living room, and when kids visit here, they really love the experience, but it could be even better. That's what you hear from everybody who's anybody that recruits.
Without question.
Covers recruiting, I should say, is they could dot some more I's and cross some more T's. And so if this is what Willie is able to do now that he has new coaches that he can just give the keys to and say, here, I'll be with you in practice. I'm going to govern practice. I'm going to dictate what we do, meetings, all that stuff. But now, instead of going to my office and looking at film and saying, what are we going to do against NC State?
Right.
I can now text the kids, text back and forth with the kids, or make sure
I could
that
be on them from day one and be invested from day one.
I'm dealing with David Kelly and making sure that everything is A-okay, operationally speaking. Yeah.
You're getting organized, which is, a Jimboism, I know, but that's what you got to do here. And so, I'm not surprised by any of this. I don't have a problem with any of it either. The problem was with what we saw on the field last year. And nobody would argue that. To which degree you want to place blame and all that other stuff, that's fine and dandy. We've had that argument. It's a circular argument. We've been doing it over and over and over again. We know it can't be the same this year, or he doesn't have a job. And then it doesn't really matter how you feel about those things. So this is all part of that. But now that it's moving forward, again, you'll hear audio in a second from Kendall Briles, and that's the way they're going to handle this. They did not want to take the PR hit of having a press conference, a big to-do, an introduction, a long, drawn-out Q&A, which they know invariably would lead to the bad PR because the questions about Baylor would come up. They chose not to do that. I actually think that was smart. It does, again, maybe represent in the school in a way that some people will recoil from, but that's the reality of the situation. Having said that, that wasn't the only thing that went on this weekend. Softball team dominated down in St. Pete Clearwater, and Tom, it's happening. I watched a lot of it. I caught a good bit of it. And I'll be honest with you, the very same talking points we had at the end of last year in the national championship run carried over. I'm not here to tell you I know anything more than I did last year about the state of softball, meaning the other schools around the country and the level they play at. I don't, because I don't watch them. But I do watch us now. And one thing that stands out is I not only praise the fact that we were winning and that was really cool, but that the game had changed, that it had stepped forward to now, I think in a way, entertain those that were put off about the drastic differences between baseball and softball. Softball, in my mind, with the rules changes, no more just a bunch of running bunts getting halfway down the line and kids instead swinging away and showing a lot more skill that's akin to baseball, was welcoming to the average Joe that didn't watch a lot of it. It certainly was to me. And when I watched pieces of this tournament, my God, do we swing it. up and down the lineup. It's power with really beautiful, aesthetically pleasing swings. I mean, this is, again, without knowing.
Last Friday, I lived off of Sunset Point and 19, and all you got to do is cross 19, go down one block, and then there it is.
Boom.
And it's a great complex. They now have a little walking bridge to get to it and all that stuff. They invested a lot of money, but you know what? People don't show up because there's a nice walking bridge over McMullen Booth Road.
They don't care about that at all,
They show
Tom.
up to watch the Noles.
They want to see an ass kicking.
They want to see the best in the game.
The
and that's
national
what we
champions. Absolutely, that's what they want to see. So all of that happened as well, and I was tuned in. I also went over to Hauser, of course, just like you did. I know you went over on Friday. I also went back to the ballpark. You were out of town. You couldn't, so that's not your fault. But I like this team. It's a fun team. It's an early start to the season, so we don't, let's wait. We got baseball again tonight. So
tomorrow.
What did I say tonight? Yeah, sorry, Jacksonville.
The weather, they delayed it.
Did they do that?
Yeah.
I should have probably checked. I was too busy looking at every other damn thing that happened over the weekend, of which there was an awful lot. And then nationally, of course, you get the news that Machado has signed with San Diego. This will probably mean that the cards fall, and we now know that Harper will sign very, very soon. So it almost feels like it was kind of funny for the SiriusXM golf show. We were going to try to get David Ross on. He's an avid golfer, and so I reached out to him. He said, "Sorry, Jeff, can't do it. I'm in spring training coaching." How cool is that? That's just a cool text to give back and forth. He's like, "I'll do it another time." Like, enjoy spring training. I will. That's good. It's on the horizon. It's right there. So combined with upcoming March Madness and the run this basketball team's on, and of course the game we'll be watching tonight, coupled with the return of Major League Baseball, the return of college baseball, the return of softball, and the consistency we see from that program, and then of course the chase actually falls way back on the list of things that we're going to be paying close attention to, because here's the deal. No matter how good you feel about the changes, the aforementioned changes that I rattled off there a moment ago, we're not fooled. We're not. We're lovers scorned, man. We've been burned. We're going to hold off on love. We're going to wait a little bit. He says a lot of things that I want to hear. Seems to have a greater control and grasp and measure, breadth of the situation. I liked his talking points. You'll hear him in a moment, meaning Kendall Briles. But you know what?
Well,
it's not going to matter.
There are going to be open practices for the spring. Willie had talked about that at the Car Museum, and he said they're going to be open to the public. Okay, I'm in. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
It's nothing about talking that can do anything for me or many in the fan base.
No.
But you go and see and you weigh how this practice is organized compared to last year's practice, which is compared to the way Jimbo did things. Just from the offensive standpoint, how does that look? And if it's worked completely differently, and let's say Willie is overseeing things, but he can wander from field to field, offense to defense, does that mean that defense is going to be organized differently? Does Harlan Barnett want to do anything and change anything? Because they got some results, but not all the results they wanted. So that's, for me, the next thing with Florida State football, beyond hearing from the kids, which the media did yesterday. And it sounds like we've got some good culture builders on this squad. I mean, they're going to put their best out there, but they roll 7 kids out there. That's good to hear.
Who all say the right things, and that's good.
The most important thing is to see, does practice change the way we organize, the way we do things? And I would assume every coach has the way that they want to do it. And if Kendall has the keys to this thing, all right, we're going to see some differences.
We are. And one thing we did see also, as I alluded to, and we won't have a time, as we did earlier in the show, to kind of look back at an easy win over Georgia Tech. We weren't great offensively, but we were something special defensively once again and dominated this team. I do want to make mention, for those that may have overlooked this game or been bored by a 69-47 rout, Georgia Tech scored, or finished, I should say, 0.64 points per possession in this basketball game. That is their worst of the season, and they've had some clunkers. That is their worst of the season by a lot, and I laughed watching them try to score in the first half. Now, that game was close, and you could get angry watching what you were watching, but in all honesty, I kept thinking to myself, the second Hamilton yells at them about understanding that they cannot score against us unless you're giving up something easy on a break. They're not going to score against us in the half court. So can we please buckle down and play a little defense? Clearly that was stated. Georgia Tech really didn't score again.
Yes, so I was in Disney Springs, the former Pleasure Island down there in Disney, and I was in the car. I watched about probably 5 minutes into the second half at Splitsville, which was down there. Get in the car, and I find the FSU affiliate. It's on AM. There's a signal. It's just not as strong as the FM dial.
Not like us, no.
So I went to the XM, and I found the Georgia Tech broadcast of this game.
How depressed were they?
Oh, buddy.
I kind of feel for them. They got really nothing to
watch. They had 2 5-second violations in a span of about 10 minutes.
Brutal.
They're like, oh, that's another one. It's
Well, I mean, I've not seen too frequently, to your point. I have so rarely seen in ACC play when we're on the road. Now, I've seen it here. I've seen people get suffocated at the TLC Double C. By the way, TLCCC.com for your shirts. They're great. Anyhow, that said, I've seen people suffocated here. To watch a team at home look impotent to the extent that they were a wet noodle is awfully difficult. I got to imagine that as announcers who watch this team every week and as fans who go watch that team, you really have to feel like it's a fruitless endeavor. They're not any good.
It sounded like NPR. Except there were whistles and buzzers in the background.
At least NPR is informative. This is just guys yeah.
Kabagano, that's good. And,
another empty possession there from Tech. Michael DeVoe on the miss. He's 2 of 11 this afternoon.
Yes.
Tech just can't get anything going.
Looks like Coach Passner is telling his guys they need to buckle down here in the half court.
James Banks with another miss there, tried to go off the glass. He's 1 of 9 from the afternoon. So if you look at it, folks, between Michael DeVoe and James Banks, we're a cool 3 for 20. And that would explain the 15-point differential. Knowles out on the wing. Just one of those.
That is verbatim what I heard. And it was music to my ears.
Oh, it's glorious. Glorious indeed. Coming up next, you'll hear audio from Kendall Briles. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Look around. That's right, you see Nissans everywhere. Tallahassee is officially a Nissan town, a Kraft Nissan town. Why? Because Kraft Nissan has the best pricing, the best selection, and the best buying experience in town. And at Kraft Nissan, you get the best value for your dollar. With more standard features, our exclusive and the original lifetime warranty, our easy choice menu that gives you a price and payment in writing, our new For You program that helps people with damaged credit. And now, till the end of the month, 2 years or 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance with every new car purchase, plus $1,000 over book value for your trade. Best of all, my people are the best in the business. They will greet you with a smile and a handshake, and they will know your time is valuable. My managers are always accessible, and of course, you can always ask for me or my brother Peter. Bottom line, if you need a new or pre-owned car, you need to experience the Kraft difference. Great people, great product, great price, with the best car buying experience in town. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. And remember, if you don't see the Kraft tag on your car, you paid too much, way too much.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Jeff?
You know, buddy, that I like archaeology, right?
Yeah. I'm quite an anarchist myself.
Right. Well, anyhow, do you know what they find the world over when they excavate? You know the item they find the most of?
I don't know, rocks?
Freaking bowls.
Bowls?
Bowls everywhere. In Rome proper, right? Bowls upon bowls upon bowls.
That's very interesting.
What's the high school over in Jacksonville, the one with all the good football players?
Bowls?
Right.
What are you getting at here, Jeff?
Mo used what to cut his hair?
I don't know, Jeff. What is a bowl?
Boom. A bowl indeed.
Hey, that gives me an idea.
Really?
We should have bowls here at Gordo's. We can do all kinds of bowls. We can do chicken bowls, fish bowls. We can do steak bowls, pork bowls, veggie bowls. Brilliant. I'm a genius. Jeff? Hey, Jeff.
Okay, that ought to do it. Thanks, Jessica, for coming over and helping me declutter my home.
You're welcome. That's what friends are for. Ooh, check it out. I found some loose change in this corner.
That is the second time you have found some hidden treasures in my house.
Do you know you can find savings in every corner of your home?
Okay, I'm listening.
You can find savings from the city of Tallahassee. With their 5% interest financing for more than 25 energy-efficient appliances, measures, and systems, you can get a loan for things like outdoor lighting, floor, ceiling, and wall insulation, Energy Star reflective roofing, and even things like gas ranges, fire logs, and grills.
Wait, even on grills? I've been shopping around for a new gas grill. I had no idea, and with it getting even darker, I could use some outdoor lighting. Seems the City of Tallahassee's loan program may be the perfect solution.
Well, just be sure and invite me over the next time you grill.
Of course, that's what friends are for.
Take advantage of the City of Tallahassee's loan program and save energy, water, and money. Visit talgov.com to learn more. That's talgov.com for more information.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
This has nothing to do with nothing regarding this segment. Do you even want to watch the rest of the regular season for the Lightning, who now are insane? I mean, they're setting NHL records, and it gets a little much.
So this is something I've been talking about on my project that I do on the JoeBucksFan.com.
It's a good podcast.
It's the Joe Bulls Fan Podcast. But every team that I've seen since the mid-'90s, I compare to the mid-'90s Pittsburgh Penguins. They didn't win the Cup in that portion of the decade, but when you're talking about productivity, goal scoring, power play, all that kind of stuff, they were the standard. It's Jágr and Lemieux playing together at the same time.
Correct.
And so what the Lightning are doing is now they're actually achieving the marks that these teams did in the 1995-1996 season. So I want to keep watching as we keep climbing and setting 2.5 decade old records.
Yeah.
But I just want them all to stay healthy. Like Victor Hedman left the game last night with a lower body injury. I'm going, oh, no.
Can't have that.
Please.
Can't have that.
We can't peak in just February, man. We got to go all the way.
Well, I think the problem is at some point we were laughing about peaking in December, and then it's, now you're at a place where you go, okay, well, this has been fun. It's been really cool, and I don't want you to just start losing for the sake of losing. But when you won 45 times in your first 60 games,
right?
You've made your point. Now you got to be right, and it's hard. How do you just stay right?
Yeah, you've got individuals that are now chasing down some incredible benchmarks. They're the first team since the 95-96 Pittsburgh Penguins to have 3 players over 70 points before they hit 60 games. And this is a salary cap era. It's much like what the Patriots are doing if you just look at it from a one-year perspective. Everybody's built to be average. And so what this hockey team is doing is they're producing at a rate from an era that wasn't the salary cap era, when teams could sign all of the best players.
All the best players, yeah. Reminds me of why we compare and contrast the kinds of runs that the Dallas Cowboys had in the early 90s with what the Patriots have done now, and say, to offer the cap to the Patriots, because this is a salary cap league. You ought not be able to do it. The league isn't set up for that to happen. So if you're not watching the Lightning, you should be, because they win every night and they're easy money. I've won a lot of money. Big Daddy J has done very well off the Tampa Bay Lightning. It has been a marvelous run.
There are 2 or 3 things they can do that no team has done since the 60s, and those are on the table. Power play is one of them. Total point output is another thing. And then there's just a bunch of things that nobody's done for decades, and it's really cool. I just hope they're like the Red Sox this year in this sense. The Red Sox were the best team. Right? Well, yeah. They followed through in the playoffs, the promise of the regular season. How often does that actually happen, though?
Well, and because this is also a sport where you can be the best team in the regular season and not move on to win. A lot of times when you look at a great college football team, for example, if they're great in the regular season, if they're dominant the way Clemson was or the way Alabama was, they do meet to play for the title. Yeah. That's not always true in soccer or hockey or baseball.
No, this ain't the NBA, man.
No,
we're not fixed,
it's not the Golden State.
in
it's
the
just
Cup
cruising
final.
On in, yeah. All right, so we got to get a lot better before we ever entertain any kind of talk like that for Florida State football. We're miles removed from being the best team in the country. But they bring in Kendall Briles. We make changes. Randy Clements comes in now as the offensive line coach. As the coach, we just got done talking about all of these changes and why they were necessary and how they were facilitated and how, listen, not every move has been met with standing ovations, but no move would be. But perhaps the greatest intrigue centers around this next clip or the audio from this next man that I introduced last segment and we'll allow to play out here, and then we'll comment. This is a 5-minute continuous clip taken from 10 minutes done by Seminoles.com, Lane Hurd, who did a good job with the interview. This is Kendall Briles.
Are there specific types of players that you like, but it does seem like you've had success a lot of different ways with different types of quarterbacks, even a legendary game against North Carolina with no real quarterbacks. Yep. Is there something that you like from a player specifically?
Well, guys that produce. Okay, I always go back to that. But it's our job as coaches to put guys in the best situation. So one of the things that I've kind of moved around a little bit here, and I hope to be in one place for a while now, but the thing that we always look for is how do we fit our system around the players that we have and the personnel that we have. So that's the first thing that you do. So going through the chase right now, getting to see those guys move, and there's not any balls, but you get to see the way that they move, the guys that can compete. And I'm not going to come in and say, this is a system, learn it. We're going to make sure that we fit it around our best personnel. That way we get our best guys the ball. And that's what we've done the last couple of years. So I think that'll have a chance to be productive.
What expectations do you have from your quarterbacks, whether from a communication standpoint, from what you expect from them on the field during a game in those situations?
Yeah, we expect those guys to, when you're talking about on the field, so play like they practice. And unless you're doing everything right on a daily basis, from good habits to showing up meetings on time to paying attention to what's going on, then obviously practicing at a high level, all that should work itself out, and on game day you go have fun. So my expectations on game days is just have fun and play the game, because you've put in all the work and you know where you should be, and I know where they should be. So at that point it's just going out there and playing. But definitely expectations are high from on and off the field, daily living from the quarterback position.
The wide receivers, you had Tamorian Terry, who had a breakout year last year as a big physical guy.
Yep.
Some of your smaller guys, the DJ Matthews, the Keyshawn Heltons, the Trayshawn Harrisons. What do you see from that room and those guys?
Yeah, KG being the only senior, but I think that room's explosive. I've been around some really good receiver rooms, and I see a lot of guys, first of all, that have a chip on their shoulder. And that's what I like about really this entire team. And I think the way that the program is moving with Coach Taggart is these guys aren't happy, about where they've been. They're not excited about just walking around wearing a Florida State jersey or shirt. They want to win, and they're very eager to do that. They want to learn. And that receiver room in general, those guys have an edge to them. And that's what you want in that room. And the good thing is there's a lot of really good players. And so you're going to have stiff competition. So those guys have got to compete at a high level every single day. And they've got a lot of talent to back that up as well. So I'm real excited about where those guys are at.
The offensive line faced a lot of scrutiny last season. Coming in, what do you do with that group, and what do you see from that group? Obviously a lot of new faces too coming in from the recruiting class. Yeah,
last year was last year. It's clean slate. So, everybody, for me and my perspective is, today and moving forward. It's not what the past has been. So all the focus in that room now is just getting strong, getting mobile, making sure our body weights are where they should be. And then we're getting into the part now of being able to start talking a little bit of football. getting to that aspect of it. So when we do start spring ball, then those guys have a pretty good grasp of where we're at and what we can do, because it happens in a hurry for them. Our tempo is going to be high. They're not going to have a whole lot of time to think and figure out what's going on. So we want to run plays pretty quick. So I'm excited about those guys. I think same thing. They're ready to prove. Everybody talks about them not maybe holding up their end last year. So those guys are ready to get out there and go to work.
What are your biggest priorities once spring ball starts as far as working with the offense? What do you want them to get out of these 15 practices?
We want to make sure our mechanics and what we were trying to do from a mechanical standpoint, getting the signals, getting the play, making the calls, doing all those things. And we're going to have the athletes. So that part of it's going to come. But you want to develop that chemistry offensively, especially in the throw game. And then making sure that we fit our personnel that fits our schemes the best, and making sure we have the guys in the right position. We don't want to put a guy in a position where he's not comfortable or it's not the best thing for Florida State football. So we want to make sure that we do a good job as coaches of playing up to our personnel and getting our guys in the right position to help us be successful. And then we want to go out there and have fun and compete at a high level on a daily basis. So you only get 15 of them, so got to make them count.
What's it like coming to a school like Florida State with the history and the tradition? Is that exciting to you to be a part of that and having a chance to make your mark at a school like Florida State? Absolutely.
And I don't want to look at it as making my mark. I want to help Coach Taggart be the best head football coach in the country, and I want to help these players get to enjoy being successful because of all the hard work that they're putting in right now. And those guys got a high load socially and academically and playing the game and having to do all the things that they do. So it needs to be fun, and the way you make it fun is to win. So what I want to do is gain a lot of chemistry offensively within the staff and with our football players, so we're really, really confident when we take the field. That way we can go be successful so we can enjoy the fruits of our labor.
All right, so a few things here. He did talk about James Blackman specifically. He was asked about him. He kind of gave what you would expect to be sort of a cliche answer, in that he talked about his leadership. And I think we already know that, so I didn't play that clip. We already know that James is considered a good leader. His work ethic is there. He called him smart and said he was going to be the kind of guy that you can trust to do the right things. Well, that's good. We kind of know that. What he expects out of his quarterback is the same thing. Most quarterbacks have to be able to provide a team a level of leadership and consistency that hasn't been there for Florida State. So I knew all of that. I also didn't bother to play the sound clip of him talking about how talented the running backs were. Got it. Well, they are talented, but if you can't block that, it doesn't matter. So I want to go specifically to the receiving corps because he's produced a lot of great receivers and what his thoughts were there. And you can tell he's genuinely pleased with the explosiveness of that group and the talent and depth of that group. So who wouldn't be? We said that last year. They weren't always utilized. We couldn't always get the ball out to them, but we knew they were talented because we got glimpses of that, and nobody's going to argue Tamorian Terry and Keyshawn Helton and those guys aren't talented. And then I also wanted him to note the offensive line, which was abysmal, duly noted. But it's pretty clear to me, Tom, that he took a look at them and thought, these guys are fat and out of shape. And that's really, he answered a little bit kinder than that, but that's what he said, is make sure our bodies are right. He's not pleased with what he saw when he got here regarding those offensive linemen and the demands that he's going to put on them with the kind of offense and tempo that we're going to run is self-evident, but now it's good to hear. Again, nothing he could say, really nothing Willie Taggart can say, nothing maybe even Ron Dugans could say is going to change the demeanor and overall expectations of Florida State fans. It is a show and prove year. It is not a tell me. You're going to have to do it. But he said all the right things there. And I like the idea, we all do, of a guy who said, hey, look, I'd like to stop moving around so much. It's been kind of a circus for him lately. He's been all over the place between, obviously, Baylor, FAU, Houston, and now Florida State. It's nice to hear a guy wants to be committed and to stay put, but reality's reality. If he does a great job and Florida State lights it up in year one, he may be gone after 1 year. Unlikely, but he might be. Certainly could be gone after 2, so I wouldn't necessarily bank on that. The other part of it is that I love the idea that in spring, Tom, at the very least, he is certainly hoping that they have the kind of rapport necessary so that by the time you come around to fall, we're not implementing any more things. We understand what we're doing here.
Well, I think the benefit is a lot of the concepts are the same. They may change a little bit of the terminology and obviously the way they call plays from the sideline and they get them communicated in. So it sounds like they're doing a lot of walk-on, or I'm not walk-on, but walk-through type stuff in spring just to get a lot of the details ironed out. And then from there, they can go through the training protocols they need to. I agree with you. He struck me as the type that walked in and said to the training staff, what in the world are you doing with Group A, B, and C? And I'm sure the offensive line was the one that he talked about the most because he was willing to work it into a Seminoles.com answer. So I can only imagine when he's actually speaking from the heart what that must be like.
Imagine his conversation with Randy.
Right.
So you're going to be, coming in and taking over a bunch of fat, sloppy, completely ridiculously out of shape,
heavy-footed.
Yeah.
I mean, we need these guys to move, all that kind of stuff.
Got your work cut out for you, buddy.
The other thing I found interesting, and it was one of the earlier clips, one of the earlier answers, is he kind of hinted at that he was going to pass the ball and then run the ball. He was not pinned down on that, of course, because it is a Seminoles.com interview, but it sounded like Kendall Briles was talking about we're going to do what suits us best, and I don't really have an overriding philosophy of we're going to run the ball, which is a deviation from last
what
year.
Willie said, yeah.
Well, from what Walt Bell said as well. They said we're going to run the ball. First and foremost, we're going to run the ball, and then on defense, they said we're going to stop the run. He's not committing to say we're going to run the ball and then do something off of that.
We're going to do what our personnel dictates that we should do.
Well, and when you're not operating at peak efficiency and all your segment groups aren't equally as gifted, I like that idea. Instead of waiting till, halfway through the season before you start experimenting with stuff. Yeah, that's good.
I agree. So it was good to hear from him, Kendall Briles, really for the first time in an official capacity since arriving at Florida State. Florida State Clemson tonight. Touch on it momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Sorry, boys, I did not have time to pack.
We got this.
It's right here, guys.
We got this.
I thought I could handle it.
We got this.
Moving doesn't have to be a hassle. Call us first at 2 Men and a Truck. No matter the move, home or business, we'll make it a smooth one.
I forgot something.
We got this.
I'm Michael Blank, attorney with the law office of Jose Fernandez. If you've been in an accident, I know this can be a scary and confusing time. Our firm specializes in handling all types of accident and injury cases. Let us guide you through the process and get you the compensation you deserve. Call 855-HOSE-305 to make an appointment for your free consultation today. If you can't come to us, we can come to you, day or night. Call us now, 855-HOSE-305, the law office of Jose Fernandez. We don't get paid unless you do. Offices, Tallahassee, Miami. Se habla español. JRFinjury.com.
You see them all around town. Cintas trucks and their service reps taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas, you know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business.
Oh, I'm ready!
Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
All right, Peloton, keep it going. Thanks for riding with me today. You're halfway through this 30-minute hip-hop ride.
Now double your money and make it stack.
For all my first-time Peloton riders, how far will you go this year? Remember, your finish line is just the beginning. Get after it.
Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com.
Hendrick. Want to know what power feels like? Come get behind the wheel of an all-new, completely redesigned 2019 Silverado 1500 from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy. So hurry in to shop our huge selection, over 100 in stock, at Tallahassee's Chevy Truck Headquarters, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevy on West Tennessee or DaleJrChevy.com. Find new roads.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet, Tallahassee's hometown Chevy dealer.
This morning you're up early because you're at the DMV. So many people, it takes so much time. Do you have the right form? Are you in the right line? Your number E42, right after C23. This is confusing. When your morning is hell, just go to Taco Bell.
And let us make you breakfast like Taco Bell's Dollar Grilled Breakfast Burrito. All your favorites like eggs and bacon wrapped up in a grilled tortilla. At participating stores during breakfast hours, prices may vary, tax extra.
This is the story of a very special woman. Just a few knew about her superpowers. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician. She masqueraded as a regular person at work, but as a superhero at home. Everyone knows her as Gabriella. I still call her Mom.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need to help, complete with tips and resources at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Kevin Winter. The news came down a little more than 1 hour ago. Manny Machado agreeing to a 10-year, $300 million deal with the San Diego Padres. Yes, the Padres seemingly coming out of nowhere this offseason to land one of the two biggest free agents on the market in Major League Baseball. Machado made $16 million last year between the Dodgers and the Orioles, and today he agrees to the richest free agent deal in the history of baseball. Machado had been looking at the big market teams like the New York Yankees or even the Philadelphia Phillies, but as ESPN baseball analyst Mark Teixeira notes, San Diego's not exactly a bad second option.
Listen, San Diego is not a bad second option. It's probably the most beautiful city in the major league. You get to spend, half of the year in a great city with a rabid fan base. When the Padres win, the fans show up. It is a great place to play, and he's got a chance to be a cornerstone for this franchise. And the Padres took a gamble here, and they're going to see if it pays off.
Mark Teixeira on SportsCenter earlier today. Machado had 37 home runs, knocked in 107 last year between Baltimore and Los Angeles. The 26-year-old joins Eric Hosmer as big free agents who have fled to the West Coast and the Padres over the last couple of years. Now the only question is when and where does Bryce Harper sign? To the NFL, Antonio Brown and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, met with the Pittsburgh Steelers today, and their team president, Art Rooney II. Brown later tweeted that everyone has agreed it is time to move on and that a trade will be best for everyone. All of this was followed by Antonio Brown posting a video to his Instagram account where he said he's not playing without more guaranteed money. Steve Stricker tomorrow expected to be named the Ryder Cup captain for the U.S. squad for 2020.
Broadcasting live from the Tallahassee Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat studios in the capital city of Tallahassee. This is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Maybe while you were having your fun over at Disney, Tom, you missed out on the Jordan Spieth 81 on Sunday. But I thought I'd inform you in this, the final segment of the program.
I didn't know that he fired an 81. I got a text from our mutual friend, Trainer Bill, that said, looks like Jordan's doing it again on Sunday, and I knew what that meant.
Yeah, he was in contention at the start of the day. Not anywhere close by the end of it. Cool little 81 for you.
We have an audio recap of his first 5 holes.
Don't worry. We can just transfer money from your account into a portfolio with your son, and it's gone!
It's actually number 10 where he threw up a quad. That hurt your feelings? Now, admittedly, 10 is an amazingly difficult hole at Riviera. It is famous for being such. And if you're on the wrong side of the hole, you can throw up a magnificently huge number. It's not a good idea.
Right.
We learned that, remember, when FSU played there, and Trey kind of gave us the education on you don't want to go over on 10 because it's precarious. But
like his usual, one of his methods is try to land the golf ball between the pin and the back fringe of the green. Probably not on that hole, though.
No, you can't do that there. You end up in an area where you got nothing to shoot at, and you can't land it because it's going to go off the green because it's sloped. So you're pretty well done if you landed there, and he did. But it could be done. Tiger birdied it. So, obviously, there are players capable of executing when you have to.
When I needed to. I caught a little bit of it because I was monitoring the beginning of the Daytona 500 on these airwaves, and so I had the golf on in the background, right?
Went off flawlessly, by the way.
Was watching the golf mostly, and not much of the Daytona stuff.
No, you're missing that. Yeah,
just keeping it on.
Didn't capture your attention, did it?
So before we went back to the park, I saw Tiger when he got to, I think it was 17. He's just short of the green in 2, and then he ends up only parring the hole, and then he bogeyed the next one or something. I was like, ah. And it's at that point I gave up on it. But Spieth hadn't quite gone
ballistic yet.
Ballistic in the wrong way yet.
Little 81 action. You missed Justin's 4-putt. I like seeing 4 putts on the tour.
So he birdied his first hole today, and then he's on 2, and he's got a short par putt, and he misses that. I thought, well, 3 or 4 shots isn't that much.
Here comes J.B. Holmes, ladies and
gentlemen. If
gentlemen.
you've got that seed of doubt planted on hole number 2, that matters.
I never realized the degree to which wind can change everything about a putter who stands as tall as he does when he putts. And so that really, and he admitted, to his credit afterwards, he admitted that he didn't do a good job of adjusting to the weather conditions. Wind is very difficult to deal with. Players would much rather have it just rain than deal with wind.
Yep.
But when you got the wind picking up there, the course's defenses were like, yeah, bring it. You got nothing for us today, because those greens are impossible to hold. And I thought the shot and we'll move on because we're boring you with the golf talk, but J.B. Holmes par on 13 is a 5-footer, and he pumps his fist like he just won the Masters, because if that goes by, it's gone.
Right, and then they had a 2-shot swing apparently on 16 that I read as well, where J.B. makes a big par putt. And
he makes a huge par putt, and your boy 3 putts again.
Yeah.
And then there you go. But there were a lot of 3 putts, admittedly, from other great players from 10 feet, 17 feet,
well,
15
and
feet.
part of it is, it just won't stop raining out there these last couple of weeks. And so what happens with the spikes? You get all kinds of marks around the hole, and just anything. And just as Nick Faldo says, fractions. You catch a spike by a fraction, and now you lip out instead of going right down the heart of the hole.
Siwoo Kim wasn't worried about all that. Dropped a 66 on a Sunday and didn't care about your spikes.
He will do that. It's like he's going to win a U.S. Open, I think, someday, because he won the Players when it was difficult, and his short game was off the charts good. He'll just on a random week go nuts.
And then be gone for the year.
Yes, he will.
Florida State basketball has been on an epic roll now, 20-5. We said before we took the long weekend that if you got to 20-5, it's a beautiful thing to look at.
Such a round number.
Just look at it. Just go look at the game notes and see 20-5. It's such a beautiful thing to look at. 8-4 in the ACC now. I do think tonight's matchup, unlike, say, Wake Forest or what you saw over the weekend with Georgia Tech, provides a different set of challenges at Clemson, 9 o'clock in the Little John on ESPNU. That place will be packed and loud. The Noles have been on a big-time run, and they will be facing a very, very desperate Clemson team with skill. So a desperate team at home, primetime, 9 o'clock, kind of got to win.
Yeah.
If you're Clemson, you fall to 5-8, you're in big trouble if you're Clemson. But imagine your fortunes if you win it and get to 6-7 and 16-10. A big win over a team is ranked as highly as Florida State. So we're walking in here crosshairs. This is going to be tough.
Absolutely. If we were not a top 25 team, I think you might catch them emotionally vulnerable because of the way they lost that game on Saturday, which was, they broke their hearts, 3 times? Three separate times?
Yeah.
In the final couple of minutes.
Something to see.
It was something to see, and that was what preceded our game. I did catch the end of that, and it looked like at halftime that Clemson was going to score a big win because Louisville was devastated on the heels of their game with Duke last week. Anyway, since we are top 20 consensus, that hope that they come in emotionally vulnerable is out the window because they circle this game and say this is the one that gets us back in the tournament.
Gets you right back in the conversation without question. By the way, all time in the series, Florida State is 42-32 against Clemson. On the good side, and 37-26 since we joined the ACC. Leonard Hamilton's 21-16 against them over the Clemson Tigers in his career. 12-5 at the TLCCC, 5-11 on the road. It's not an easy place to play.
No, sure would like to get this one with North Carolina on Saturday up in Chapel Hill. Would be nice to get this one tonight.
I think we're in a little bit of get greedy mode. I think certainly you're capable of winning this basketball game. Nobody would say otherwise. It'd be silly to say otherwise. We've been the better team. But this is a road game against a team that is desperate and does have skill and has some marquee wins. They're 4-1 at home is Clemson. They play well there. Listen, I think you're well rested. Clemson, again, with their backs against the wall, I imagine you get their best shot. And it's a matter of withstanding the initial blows. I think we come out and get down in this game. I don't foresee, and I did against Syracuse, I did think we might go on the road and shoot well. I don't know why, but I had that feeling that maybe they would just be footloose and fancy-free. I do know this, Tom, I found this out, a little digging here, that going back to that Syracuse game, they changed their routine. Their game day routine. The players were a little frustrated and they didn't like the way they were shooting. And they said, why don't we change things up when we're on the road? We want to do something different. We want to do something different in general about when we eat, when we study, when we shoot. And ever since that time, they've been a much better shooting team. That will get tested tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That will get tested big time tonight because, again, anytime you're facing a team with their back against the wall, you're going to come out and receive some haymakers. Are you still standing at the 10-minute mark of the second half? You in this game, or are we just going through the motions, looking ahead to the next contest, and Clemson's getting a big win? Get me to that 10-minute mark of the second half within 5. And I'm telling you, okay, edge of the couch time.
Well, I'm looking back at the first time we played, and we were down 6 at the break in that game. We didn't turn the ball over all that much. We did hit 10 of our 22 threes. We were good at the free throw line, and our assist number was pretty good too. 14 of our 25 made field goals. So it looks like offensively, if it plays out the way it did here in Tallahassee, we'll have a chance to make some plays. And the reason that gives me hope for tonight is because we've rested pretty well for the last week.
Big time. Yeah, we did. We had a lot of rest.
You're talking about being able to answer.
Might be there.
We're not coming off of a Sunday night ACC hoops game that was, down to the wire and everybody played 30 to 35 minutes. I think it was only one guy, it was Kofor, played over 22.
Well, I'll just say this. If they win the game tonight, they're better than even I think they are. And you guys know I've been bullish on the team all year long for the most part, other than when they had the back-to-back losses against Pitt in Boston College. And even then I said, okay, well, they're injured. There's a problem here. Let's see if they can get healthy. In this situation, I really believe this is the kind of game that if you go on the road and beat this Clemson team up against it as they are, you've proved yet another thing to me, that you're capable of even more than I thought of. So in that sense, it's a kind of show and prove tonight to get to that upper echelon. Now you've got a shot. You win this game time, you got a real good shot to finish in that top 4 for sure. And you got a real good chance at a great seed and getting that double bye, of course, and all that stuff. So this could be interesting tonight. You get this one, and I'm already think really highly of you, but I'm gonna raise that level a little bit if you win this game.
Well, this is where I get really interested in the coaching psychology realm of Leonard Hamilton's responsibility. You tell him to air it out tonight. You know what I mean? Like, you could push that button. You can't do it often, but with North Carolina looming on Saturday, do you look at that as a coach and say, I'm going to push all the buttons tonight and say, go for it?
Well, he has been known in-game. I don't think he does it pregame, ever. I don't think he does it pregame. There may be some lone exceptions, but I will just tell you this. I think in-game he gauges early on and goes, okay, we're in it. You saw him do it against Syracuse.
Sure.
You've seen him do it at other times, like Duke game. He's like, oh, okay. And then it's shortening the bench.
Yeah.
These 7 guys.
Well, I think, yes, with the schedule this week, I think if you can get this one and go for it by shortening the bench, you do it tonight. You take it, and you know what? Saturday, if we come out and we shoot well and we're in that game. You got what you could get out of Kamaji in back-to-back games. You're probably not going to get that again anytime soon. So if that's not in the cards tonight, yank his ass. That's the way you say it. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. Be well, everybody. Have a great night. ESPN programming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.